Breaking up.
And now we're going to stream to our custom streaming service. And this is episode 162, season 4. Tonight we have Jeff Fletcher with us. We got a full house tonight. Look at this. This is incredible. I always love it when we have a full house. My name is Sean Simons, also known as PPG Grandpa. You can find me at ppggrandpa.com or here every Monday at ClearPropTV.com, PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, or listen to us at paratalk.org. Like we normally do, we're going to introduce all the panel members before we get to Jeff, and then we're going to have an amazing show tonight. Tonight, we got some giveaways too, so make sure that you tag Will Fly in the Super Chat and say, hello, I'm here. We're giving away stickers, decals, and a custom harness, a custom kiting harness. Must be present to win, so please stay here for the entire show. Welcome everybody. Tonight we have Oliver in the background. He's just gonna stay there and watch. So hello Oliver, thank you very much for hanging out with us, buddy. We also got Scuba Steve, also known as paramotordude.com. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man.
I'm good. Look forward to it.
Absolutely. Anything going on with your life that we need to hear about real quick?
No, just bad housing problems, trying to close on a house, which hopefully happens tomorrow.
Well,
cross our fingers.
Hopefully it does. Cross our fingers. Good to have you here, buddy. Glad that you're, hope you close on the house. And thank you for helping out with us in the background.
No problem.
We also got James Bevel. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
What's up, bud?
What's your .com that we need to go to?
jbppg.com.
Man, say that quick 3 times in a row. You're going to be giving away some stickers and decals tonight, right?
That is correct.
Excellent. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate you. We'll be talking with you later on tonight when we spin the spinning wheel. We also got Jim Smarr from Canada, the guy that has maple syrup smelling money, but been all over the United States and Mexico over the last couple of weeks. Amazing. How was your trip, bud?
Oh, it was really good. You'll never guess how many people wanted to smell my money.
Are you kidding? Are you serious?
I am 100% serious. And fortunately, I brought a couple 100s, so I was able to share.
I hope you recorded that. That's freaking awesome, buddy.
I never even thought about it. Dang.
Well, if you didn't record it, I don't believe you. It just didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Just ask Travis. He was sniffing my money.
That is crazy. So you are our official sponsor. So tell us a little bit about Care Printing and Publishing, please.
Oh, well, we got a printing company here. We can print pretty much anything you like, stickers or checks or invoices or whatever. You name it, we can do it. So if you'd like to take advantage of those services, we'll be happy to help you out. Just contact us at 1-800-946-4027 and we'll make that happen.
Excellent.
And if you've mentioned PPG Grandpa, we'll give you 10% off.
What? I'm worth 10%? I love it. You also got that QR code too, right? So you need to hit that QR code real quick. Go to that, go to his website, create that free account so he can send you out some free stuff if he wants to.
That sounds good.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Jim, for everything you do. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
We also got our very own Linda Anderson, our Paramom USA. What's up? Woo!
Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Monday night. Welcome, panel. Welcome, people that joined our panel tonight. Love to have you and our guest tonight, Jeff. And I just want to say hi, chatters. Enjoy the show. It's going to be a good one. Mondays are always good here. I love my Mondays. And if you want to be a guest on my show, just go to paramomusa.com. It'll take you right to my Facebook page and you can PM me and I'll say, hey, I want to be on your show. That's it.
You notice how it's her show?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yep.
I always call it my show too. Because then they won't know. They'll be like, what show are you talking about? So I always say my show. Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
because they know.
She's PPG Grandpa now, apparently.
Yeah. Just
Excellent.
see my show.
Well, thank you very much, Linda, for all the stuff that you do. She definitely books a lot of people. She got everybody on the show. She's been with us for 4 years, and we appreciate your help. And I'm glad I don't have to pay you because I don't have millions and millions of dollars for all the stuff you do. So thank you very much.
I know, I'd be rich then.
I know.
Gosh.
Just wait a little bit. I'll be rich. So thank you, Linda. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
We also got Ryan Rides. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
How's it going, Sean?
Doing absolutely amazing. Anything new in your life, bud?
Just fighting the good fight. Just working.
That seems
Not a whole lot this time of year. Just getting excited for the spring and looking forward to getting in the air, just like everybody else.
everybody's ready to run into the sky. Absolutely. Well, good to see you, Ryan. I'm glad that you're here. We also got Will Fly from willflyppg.com. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? I mean, look at our panel tonight. It's going to be a really good show. Yeah, so it's good to be here Monday night. And I have not been flying since I took that little trip down to Florida. So I'm going to have to make it a point to get back up in the air. Definitely. I'm missing it.
Absolutely. I hear you. It's been crap over here in Arkansas too. If it's not snowing, there's tornadoes, there's hail. Then it's not 80 degrees but windy, and now we have a freeze warning.
Yep. We do too. Yeah, I thought it was springtime already, but Mother Nature's got different plans.
Got some other plans.
We got a melt warning coming up soon.
A melt warning.
I don't think I've ever heard those words before in that sentence. So that's crazy.
That is funny.
Well, Will, thank you very much for being with us. Also, too, guys, we're going to be giving away some stuff on the spinning wheel of winning things. So if you have not done so already, please make sure you say hello to Will Fly. Let him know that you're here. We're going to give away some stickers, decals, and of course, a custom kiting harness from our amazing guests, which I am ready to finally get to. Sorry it took so long, Jeff. We normally don't have so many people here, but they heard that you're going to be here and they wanted to be on the panel. So, hey, it's your fault, Jeff. You are way too popular. How you doing, buddy?
Very good. Very good. Thanks. Glad to be here.
Man, I tell you, your resume is incredible. You've been flying almost your whole life, been in the Air Force. You've been flying Southwest airplanes commercially. You've been flying PPG and trikes for 6 years. You got a flight school that you are flying in. You do tandem training. My goodness, what a resume. So without further ado, Jeff, please tell us a little bit about yourself and how in the world did you get into paramotoring?
Okay. Yeah, I never really envisioned like doing flying as a career or anything. I grew up in Northern California, and when my parents retired, they drugged me to Arizona. So ended up going to college up in Flagstaff and doing computer engineering. And somewhere about my junior year, I realized that I was developing an aversion to working in a cubicle the rest of my life and turning into Dilbert with my tie curling up. So I thought, well, I'll go in the Air Force and I'll be an engineer and go do that. And, they'll take care of me. I was fortunate. I was able to get out of college with no student loans, but I was broke. So at least I had that going for me. So I thought, they'll take care of me. But anyway, a friend of mine who was in their ROTC program is like, oh, don't do that. Go be a pilot. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's an option. And so I went and checked it out, and timing happened to be very good for me, that I went down and applied, passed all the tests, did very well, and got into the ROTC program. It's a minimum 2-year program. And since I got in my junior year and at the end of my junior year, I had to extend college a year. So I ended up cutting my class load in half and taking ski class and making sure I had a couple of days off to, since I was going to school up in Flagstaff. Anyway, then got my orders to go to pilot training, and was kind of horrified when I saw the report date that I had a year off. I'm like, well, shoot, now what am I going to do? I expected to go off to, pilot training, and I got a year. So I ended up getting an interesting job working as an engineer. I was actually a civilian production engineer working for the Air Force at Douglas Aircraft in Long Beach. doing contract surveillance for a bunch of the military contracts, KC-10, ACES 2 ejection seats, F-18 bomb racks, Navy's T-45 program started there in Long Beach, and then the new C-17 was a mock-up back then. So I did that for a little while before I went to pilot training. So yeah, it's kind of the running joke, join the Air Force and see the world. And I got assigned Williams Air Force Base in Phoenix, where I'd been living, and then ended up getting assigned to be a T-37 instructor, got brought back. So I ended up spending ultimately 4 years stationed at Williams Air Force Base before we finally escaped, and went up to Fairchild up in Spokane, doing this thing called the Companion Trainer Program. Back in the day, in the days of SAC, Strategic Air Command, the B-52 and KC-135 pilots, the saddle alert, and weren't getting a lot of flying. So they created this program where they would take T-37s or T-38s, depending on the location, and put them at these bases, and basically take the co-pilots and get them recurrent in the airplanes, and take 2 of them and toss them in the airplane and tell them to go forth and aviate. Very economical program, was very successful. So it was a good way to get experience for these guys before they upgrade to aircraft commander. So I was one of 4 instructors up there at our detachment, training like 66 pilots, I believe we had. So it was an awesome job living up in the Northwest. Loved it. If there was any way I could still be up there, I would be there. But so after 4 years of doing that, loving life, got a phone call from the personnel folks, and it's kind of like, what do you want? And they're like, well, basically I found out I was the oldest instructor pilot in Air Combat Command, and the number 2 guy was also in our little 4-man detachment. And I'm basically coming up on promotion to major, but I did not have any what they call major weapon system. I had been flying T-37s my whole career. So long story made short, I hung up the phone with them, and I literally looked across at my buddy, Dave Pruitt, and he's filling out some paperwork. I'm like, what's that? What are you doing? And he's like, oh, it's an application for the U-2 program. I'm like, give me that. And so I literally copied everything he did, and we came down, both interviewed together, and got accepted into applied for the U-2 program, went down for a flying interview, which was quite an interesting process. And when I came back from that, they actually had an assignment board to give me an assignment, but I'd already questioned, which would take priority, the U-2 or whatever assignment they tried to give me. And they said, well, obviously the U-2. So I called them up, and it turns out they'd given me an F-16 to someplace. And I said, well, no, thanks. I'm taking the U-2 assignment. Very happy with that. And so that's what I did. So I went down there with a plan to basically finish out my Air Force career down at Beale Air Force Base, and not be moved around all over the place, and become a instructor pilot. And so after doing a year of operational flying, the Tweety Bird, became an instructor pilot, and then later a 2-seat instructor pilot, and then also an interview pilot. So I was one of the handful of guys that was checked out to do brand new interviews with all of our new guys. So that was an amazing experience. I always tell people that doing what they call dollar rides, or your very first flight in the Air Force, is an amazing experience. But to give someone a dollar ride in the U-2, these are experienced pilots who've got over 1,500 hours, and to give them their first flight in that airplane is just absolutely amazing. It was such a neat experience. So I did that, and then got out of the Air Force. Really had no desire to go to the airlines. Since I was an engineer, I just kind of assumed I'd go, work at some contractor somewhere. Our contractors had a list of companies that literally was like an inch thick, that if you had your engineering degree and your TS SCI clearance, you'd have a job like tomorrow. I mean, because it's so hard to get the security clearance that, you could have a job. So I just kind of assumed I would be doing that. But one of my buddies came up and just kind of walked in and said, hey, want to go get our type ratings together and go fly for Southwest Airlines? And I'm like, sure, what the heck? And so I ended up doing that. At the time, in order to apply for Southwest Airlines, you had to buy a 737 type rating, which is, $8,000 and a couple weeks out of your life. And but once again, timing was very good. Our class all did very well. We got hired, and in the spring of 2000, and been flying with them ever since. It was based in Oakland for like 9 years, and finally just couldn't take it anymore. California is going down the tubes. And so I bailed out, went down to living east of Austin, a little town called Bastrop, Texas, and was living there. And shortly after, I've always been involved in radio controlled airplanes and been following a YouTube channel called Flight Test RC, Josh Bixler and his crew. Anyway, one of their things that they do on their show is they have a lot of interest in full scale aviation. They do segments occasionally on full scale aviation. And they went to Oshkosh one year and they saw these things called paramotors. They saw the Paradigm aerobatic team and they thought, well, that's pretty cool. So they went down to Aviator and did a little segment on them. And they were so jazzed that 6 months later, like 4 or 5 of them all went down there to get paramotor training. And they published a very, very well done, like a 4 or 5 part video documentary of their experience. And so that's, I think, where I first kind of got exposed to paramotoring was through their videos and just watching it and learning about the guys at Aviator, Travis Burns and Erik and what they were doing. And I knew they were growing tremendously. Some part of me just felt like I really needed to reach out to these guys and get a hold of them. My background in the Air Force, obviously being an instructor pilot, but when I was doing my reserve job, we did courseware developments. We're developing computer-based training, syllabuses and all this sort of stuff. And I had a real curiosity of, what are the guys at Aviator doing? Like, what could we possibly do or, to improve their training, streamline things, or just how are they doing? So I was just kind of really curious about it. So I reached out to them to find out about training, and of course found out that they were severely backlogged and it was going to be quite a while, potentially a year or more to get training. But then they told me about this thing called the Alliance Partners, and that, oh, by the way, there is an Alliance Partner there in Austin, Lone Star Paramotor with Ron Turan. I'm like, sure, what's his number? So I contacted Ron and said, hey, where do you guys do your training? And they're like, oh yeah, come on out. Friday we're training out here at Lake Kyle Park. And so I went out there and took one of my commercial drones. I've got my commercial drone certification, all that. So I took one of my drones out there and kind of video their kiting practice. And that was honestly, it was tough to watch because I'm watching these guys doing kiting, and some of them were doing well, some of them were doing normal, but I was just inside of me, I was just screaming like, I got to try this. Like, I just like, give me that. I got to try this. It's like, how hard is this? Is this really as hard as this looks? But anyway, made a video for Ron, just kind of showing what they were doing and said, hey, how do I do this? And he's like, well, I got an opening in my class like next week or two. And I'm like, I'm in. So it was like,
all right,
no question.
So let's hold on right there.
Right
before you're ready to jump into class, we got some questions in the super chats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steve, can you ask one of the questions, please, Steve? And you're still on mute, buddy. He goes, oh man, I'm on mute.
I'm like talking and nobody's saying anything. Let's see. I'll just go with the first one. Bill H wants to know, did you go to EFD, Endless Foot Drag in 2008?
I have been to Endless Foot Drag. I don't remember the year. It could be 2019. Maybe no. Let's see. No, it had to been before that. Yeah, it was before 2019. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. And since we're on the fly-ins and stuff, real quick, how many fly-ins have you gone to? Which ones you gone to, and which ones you like the best?
Endless Foot Drag was awesome. We've been to Oshkosh a few times. That's pretty much about it for the big, fly-ins.
Okay.
Surprisingly, being here. I'm sorry, what?
Did you make it to Arizona Flying Circus this year?
Interestingly enough, I've been here for a number of years, and for some reason or other, I've just either have been working or people ask me like, are you going to go? And it's, there hasn't been a big desire to go down and do that for some reason. I don't know if it's, I know there's been some incidents and things that have happened down there over the years, and just seems like something always bad happens. And I just kind of like, yeah, I just really don't want to be involved with it down there. And one of my instructors went down there, and he went and checked it out, and he came back and he was like, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And he was kind of a similar thinking. He says, it'll probably be a one-time event for him too.
Okay. I think if when I go there, which I will eventually, I think I'll just go there to watch. I don't think I'll bring a paramotor.
Exactly.
I'll just go there to observe. I'll be the observer.
I think you're right. That's kind of the way to go. Yeah.
It seems like a crazy circus. All right. James, there's another question in the chat. Can you read the next one, please? And you're on mute too, buddy. Don't forget to unmute.
Oh, we got you right here. Brian Franz, he wants to know why he switched from jets to paramotors. I'm kind of curious myself.
Well, it's not really a switch. I mean, I still fly jets for work. I mean, it's fun. It's an intellectual thing. It's an easy paycheck. I also am a CFI, double I. I'm a flight instructor. I'm actively teaching a few students right now. So, but, I always tell people, it's like, if I'm just going to go out and go do something for fun, I grab the paramotor. I mean, it's like, hello, it's like, who wouldn't? When I did a flight on my YouTube channel, I did a flight around the Santan Valley, over the Santan Mountains several years ago. It happened to be like a Thanksgiving morning. Weather conditions were perfect. I took off and just said, I'm going to go that way, and flying over the Santan Mountains, and just was kind of sniffing around to see if there's any, rotor or anything around the peaks, and turned up at just one of those perfect days with no turbulence, absolutely dead calm. I'm just like going around the peaks and down the valleys and just going whatever looked interesting, wanted to go look at. Made this video, and then I showed my son, and he was absolutely blown away. He was kind of like, why doesn't everybody do this? And he's like, this is amazing. It's like a 3-dimensional dirt bike. I'm like, right. Literally you can just kind of wherever you want to go, however high you want to go. That's just kind of what you do. It's just, so easy to do, and, without any restrictions, and, very few limitations, compared to, flying big airplanes. It's kind of like the difference of, riding a motorcycle versus being in a car. People refer, motorcycle guys refer to people driving around cars as driving around in cans, and yeah, you just don't get to be part of the environment, and just feeling the air and everything else. So yeah, absolutely.
Totally agree with you. Once I got into this, got rid of the 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, boats, motorcycles, all that, because a paramotor does it all.
Oh yeah. One of the instructors in Austin, he used to race CMRA. He was a big track bike rider. I used to race motorcycles as well. Super Americas. I had my GX or my CBR 600 track days. And once he got into paramotors, he's like, screw this. He got rid of all the bikes. I mean, it was frustrating. You can't go out and ride the track anytime you want. You can only do it on certain track days. And you're trying to see like, well, how much money do I want to spend trying to shave a few seconds off my lap times? It's like, after a while, you're like, no, this is just stupid. I want to do something on my terms.
Absolutely. I was hooked. First day, I was like, I'm hooked. This is it. This is all I want to do for the rest of my life. We also got another question in Super Chat. Ryan Rides, you want to ask that next question, please? And don't forget to unmute. Everybody's being so good at muting themselves.
All right. Bonnie Friends wants to know, what paramotor and wing does Jeff have?
Well, I fly a Parajet. Well, we started off with Air Conception, the Nitro 200s. Those were our school motors. That was my first motor, electric start. We started having kind of supply chain issues. They just could not meet the demand and the numbers that we were demanding of them. So we switched over to Parajet, manual start with the Moster 185. And initially we were kind of like concerned, like, oh man, they kind of like the E-start, and then once we got used to it, we realized, yeah, no big deal. Nothing. We're not missing anything, and love the durability of the Maverick, the titanium frame. I mean, just the way the thing is designed, the shapes of the cage in the bottom, it is so durable, withstanding, butt landings, all that sort of stuff. And we have taken motors that have completely been wadded up and turned into a pretzel, and we can unbend them. I made a tool that I called it's like the frame bending tool. It's basically I 3D printed some like roller wheels and screwed them into a 2x4. So it's kind of like a roller bender. And so you can take it and kind of walk your way around a hoop and like make an egg and turn it back into a circle again. And in just like literally seconds flat. So, I love the malleability of the titanium, but I've always flown ozone wings. We started training on the Mojos and the Spiders and working our way through all the models or most of the models there. So my current wing is a Freeride 19, and I flew a Spider 22 for a very long time. I had a Roadster 26 as a kind of a big wing for high altitude stuff. But yeah, I've got pretty much every ozone wing size. We also have a Speedster 20. That's my son's wing. That's a fun wing. So yeah, mostly ozone.
So what is your go-to wing and paramotor? I think that's maybe what they're
Oh
asking.
yeah, just the Moster 185 on the Maverick frame with the Freeride 19. Absolutely. Freeride is such a versatile wing. Just I love it.
So
In fact, quick side story. When Tucker won the Icarus race, he won it on a Freeride 19. And during watching those videos, I was really intrigued with, he was really intrigued with the wing and how it performed for him. And after he won the race, I got a text from Ron, and Tucker was sending the wing. He had to send it back to the Aviator, but anyway, he sent it to Ron, and Ron texted me. He's like, "Hey, I got Tucker's wing. I think you need to demo it." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm in. I can't wait to try this out," because I was really kind of curious to see, like, what is this D-rated slalom wing? How is this going to behave, compared to like a Spider, something that I'm super comfortable with. And, is it going to be like crazy, dynamic? And, if you twitch, it wants to roll inverted and kill you, or, what is it like? And I was very pleasantly surprised to find that, in my opinion, it was very progressive. It was very docile. I loved that, you could start do wing overs, and you do your first pull. And from there, you can just do weight shift and get as big as you want. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I was just super impressed with the wing. And so I'm like, okay, well, I got to buy one of these, because, I did have some concerns early on with, like, maybe I was like skipping wings, because some of my buddies were, they do cross countries. And so they're looking at maybe doing the Scirocco, or the Speedster, going to a C-wing. And so I was thinking, well, should I get that one first? But like, well, I like doing acro. I've done SIV. I like doing, acro and things like that. So I'm like, well, get the thing that I'm going to be doing. So I ended up getting the Freeride. Interestingly enough, both Ron and Parker, or the other instructors at Lone Star, they had been on Speedsters and Scirocco's. And after being on those for a year, we decided, me and Ron, on one of our trips up to Oshkosh, we decided to trade wings. And so we spent several days flying each other's wings. And when we got done with it, Ron's sitting there looking at the wings on the ground, and he points to the Freeride. He's like, or this points to the Scirocco. He's like, faster. And then he points to the Freeride, but more fun. He's like, dang it. And both those guys ended up buying Freerides, even though they primarily enjoy doing cross country stuff, and they're not acro dudes, but it was kind of funny.
That is really freaking neat. I love when people get really, passionate about the stuff that they fly, and they try different wings, and they go back to something like this. So thank you very much for that perspective. We're going to be spinning the spinny wheel of Winnie things tonight. James Bevel is going to be giving out some decals, and he's going to be talking to us about his decals and stickers, his merchandise, and how you can go over there to get this merch. So James, go ahead and unmute yourself. We'll fly whenever you're ready. Put the spinny wheel of Winnie things up. You must be present to win, because there's only one way of actually getting you over to his website, and that's to listen to him here in just a moment. Welcome, James. And as soon as we get back from this, we're going to go back to Jeff and hear about how we transitioned into going to Lone Star and flying a paramotor. So this has been a really amazing. James, welcome to the show, buddy. Thank you so much for helping us out as far as giving some stuff away.
Yes, buddy, I have no issues. Just a little bit about myself here. I have created jvppg.com. I do custom t-shirts. I try to dare to do things a little different. I do cut a lot of vinyl custom decals that you put on like your trailer, your truck, window, car, wherever you want to stick it. I am going to give away 4 of them tonight. And all they got to do is log on to the website and, like I said, pick which one they want, put it in their account. Once they make their account, then I will make sure I get that to them.
Now you also too are just gonna like me too over at paramotorarkansas.com. Anybody that wants to sign up for a free account over at paramotorarkansas.com goes there, and then once a month or sometimes twice a month, I just go through and click a name and send something out for free. Now you're doing the same thing too, right, buddy?
Yes, correct.
So what is the .com that we need to go over to and create that free account?
That would be jbppg.com.
JB as in James Bevel, right? JB?
Correct.
JB, like James Bevel, ppg.com. Make that free account. Not only will you have a chance of winning one of these stickers for free throughout the months that are coming up, but also too, today we're going to be giving away 4 of these stickers. All right, so let's go ahead and shuffle. Wait a minute, before we shuffle, we got Paramount that needs to say hello to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
That's okay. I was just hanging out here, just waiting. It's all good. Yeah, thank you, chatters. I see y'all in the spinning wheel. We'll go through this real quick here. Kramer, hi Kramer. We got Sean Hartman, Bonnie France, Bill H, 555 in the house, Gary Simons, Travis DuPont, Scott and Angie. I can't see the name, it's kind of hidden there. We got Torgoff, Todd Falone, James, Sendor. What's up, Shandor? I have to say your name right, Shandor. Welcome. We got Joe Adele, Jeremy, Gene Coates, Next Batman, full name. Flying Flamingo Jade. What's up, Jade? Brian France, Slow Days. Hey, Slow Days. Greg Laney, Stephen, Good Pastor, and Dewey Milstead. Hey,
And you
Dewey.
got one more.
And one more.
There's a delay.
Oh.
Marcos Franco. What's up, man?
Thank you.
Absolutely, guys.
Welcome, everybody.
If
Thank
you're
you so
just
much.
listening
Good
in the
luck.
back, if you're just listening in the background, please at Will Fly real quick. Say that you are here. You want to be on the spinning wheel of winning things. 'Cause
Yes.
not only are we spinning for these stickers, but also too,
Oh.
our guest Jeff Fletcher is going to be giving away a custom kiting harness in just a little bit. So
Ooh.
all the names continue to stay on the
They're-
spinning
They're
wheel.
jumping in. They're jumping on the boat.
Good. Jump in on this boat if you want to win. Must be present to win.
That's right. We got Marcos. Marcos, welcome, Marcos. And I can find PPG. Welcome. Good job. Anybody else wants to jump on the spinning wheel?
You got like 2 seconds to do so. If
2
not, don't
seconds.
worry about it. Just at Will Fly, and you'll be on the next spinning wheel here in just a
Yep.
moment. So let's go ahead and spin twice. What is that? Oh, spin twice for 2 different stickers. Remember, you must go over to jbppg.com, create that free account so he can send out your free stickers when you win.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Ready when you are, Mr.
Ready?
Will Fly. Yes, sir.
Here we go. It's greased well.
Round and round and
All
round
right.
he goes.
I'm going to go with slow days today.
I'm going to say Deweese Milstead since it always seems to be rigged on Deweese.
I'm going to say Flying Flamingo. My favorite pink flamingo she is.
She is a
Let's see here.
awesome pink flamingo.
I'm going to say Marcos.
Greg,
Ooh,
I think it might be Greg.
It's going to be
Or is it going to be Bonnie?
close.
Or is it going to be Bonnie Franz again? Rigged.
Yeah, I think it's Greg.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Greg!
yay. Congratulations.
Laney,
Greg
congratulations.
Laney.
All right, real
Awesome
quick.
stuff.
James, let Greg know how to claim his prize.
So basically, it just needs to go over to jbppg.com, subscribe, and go ahead and throw that in his cart, and then get a hold of me at James Belville on Facebook. Let me know that's done, and then I will get that off to him.
Awesome. So make a free account at jbppg.com. And that goes for everybody out there. Remember, he's just going to be giving away free stickers throughout this month and next month and the following month. That's all he wants to do is give away some free stickers. He also is going to be giving away some gift cards in the future too. He's got something really special at the end of this show to talk about. All right, let's spin it one more time and let's get back to our guest, Jeff Fletcher.
All right, I got you on there, Vance. Shuffle,
Cool.
shuffle.
All right.
Who's it gonna be, Linda? Quick.
Oh.
Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
I'm gonna say torque off. Torque off.
Slow days.
Who's it gonna be? I think it's gonna be,
Ooh.
I think it's gonna be 555. I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know, man. That's right on the line. Look at there, Vance. It paid off
Vance.
for
Wow.
you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Cool.
So we got Vance Oliver won that one. And yeah, just put him on the wheel. Right on, man.
It's a cool spinning wheel if I've ever seen one.
Can't hear you.
Marshall.
Nope, can't hear you, man.
Cool. Congratulations, everybody.
No, can't hear you.
Who?
So-
What?
Well, I'm curious, Jeff. I mean, I know you've flown jets and all that, and I completely get it. I mean, flying paramotors is completely different than flying general aviation or
Testing.
Hey, we hear you now.
Oh,
So
okay, good.
what is it that you know that really attracts you to flying low and slow or flying slower than a jet? You know, what kind of what
Well,
does
it's
it?
the yeah, I mean, I always talk about, you know, it's that kind of stuff of dreams, you know, literally running into the air. Like if you just run fast enough with enough commitment, you could somehow like go into the air. And that's about as close as we can get to actually doing that. I mean, the visibility and the speed at which you fly down low, you actually get the perception of, you know, that you're actually moving. And you know, the higher you go, things just kind of appear stagnant, like it's not even, nothing's happening. I mean, now granted, you know, flying at 70,000 feet in a U-2 gives you an amazing perspective. It's mind blowing, but yet, you know, the most fun part of that airplane is being down low, you know, doing touch and goes and stuff. And that's to me is the fun part, you know, just doing landings and all that physicality. And that's what I like about the paramotor is just the, you know, it's just kind of a unique challenge, you know, kiting the wing and then once you're in the air, just being able, just the freedom to go wherever you want to go, pretty much when you want.
Excellent. Now we're going to be talking about you're going to Lone Star to learn to fly. But before we get to that, tell us a little bit about your school, Desert Aviation, desertaviators.com.
Sure. Yeah, we are a paramotor flight school here in Santan Valley, Southeast Phoenix. We started up when we moved here. It took a while. We kind of started up right in the midst of COVID. So it took a while to get, you know, like it took forever, like for instance, to get our Falco from Parajet. I mean, like over 6 months to get our trikes. But anyway, it took a while to get our equipment built up and just kind of let everyone know we're here. There was kind of a lot of brand recognition, if you will. You know, people know who Lone Star was, and there was, you know, kind of talk with Aviator, like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll be like a, you know, like an Aviator West or some kind of a presence like that. But we decided, you know, just kind of do our own thing out here. And train. And I was very fortunate that shortly after starting up, I was actually building a motor simulator for the back of the truck. I welded up a big rig that mounts in the back of the truck with a winch, and I have a hanging harness, full riser setup on it. So I can have a student in a harness, practice like they're kind of running in place, and actually raise them up off the ground to simulate like taking off. And then once they're hanging in, you can do weight shift. And unlike a riser type setup where like we used to have where, it's kind of locked in onto a frame, you can actually do weight shift, and you can kind of see what happens when you.
Uh-oh, is that me or is that everybody?
No, that's Jeff.
Oh, bummer. I hate when that happens. So Jeff apparently lost internet connection. That unfortunately happens every once in a while. So let's go back to James Bevel real quick. I was trying to say before my mic went crazy, tell Vance Oliver how to get those stickers that he won.
Again, all he's got to do is right there behind me, show up at JBPPG, sign up for the free account in there, go to the decal section, pick the 2 decals that he wants, put it in his cart, and I will make sure I get them sent out to him right away.
Did you say 2 decals? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'll do two apiece.
Wow, very generous. Thank you very much, James.
What was that? It was JB.
Yep, JBPPG.
Like James Bevel. Gotcha.
Okay, yeah.
JPPG.
It's right behind him. Just look.
It's hard.
I guess
to
it
see.
is, isn't it?
It's hard to see the JB. You might need to change that JP to be I don't know, red, because it's hard to see, I guess.
I was trying to be nice to give him an extra plug, for those who can't see or listening to the podcast.
Absolutely.
Hey, the tougher it is to learn to say, the more you're going to remember it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right on.
Jeff, whenever you get back here, say something so we know that you're here, because we can't hear you, buddy. And you're totally gone. I don't know where you went. So Jeff, whenever you get back, let us know, buddy, and we'll continue the interview.
I sent him a friend request. I hope it didn't crash his computer.
You crashed his computer, man. It's that maple syrup smelling money that crashed his computers, man.
He's probably focused on that right now.
That's crazy. So hopefully he'll just come back real quick. Hey, Jim, since you are our official sponsor, can you tell us real quick about your Care Printing and Publishing again, bud?
About my Care Printing and Publishing. I care about printing and publishing, but I don't want to publish anything. So don't ask me about publishing. I can print virtually anything. And Jeff is back. He saved me.
Yay. Jeff, you're back, buddy.
Definitely at work there. Anyway, I was starting to say, anyway, I ended up meeting a student named Jared Kelton, who is an amazing individual. His day job, he's as a tattoo artist. He's the same age as my youngest son. But as soon as I met him, I went home and I told my wife, I says, I think I met my Parker, referring to Parker, who was one of our instructors back at Lone Star, who is an amazing guy. Anyway, right from the get-go, before he even started training, he was very enthusiastic. And I'm like, look, if you're willing for it, you're going to be one of my instructors. And he's like, I'm in. I want to do this. I said, I absolutely want to do this. So trained him up, and then he kind of did the same path that I did at Lone Star. As soon as I got training, I realized this is what I want to do full time, be an instructor. And so I did everything from that point to get all the ratings and, getting the PPG2, PPG3, and, getting the instructor ratings, going through that process. And so did the same thing with Jared. And so it's been a very neat process, just training him and working with him. And he's been an invaluable asset to me here at Lone Star. Right now, he's a USPPA foot launch instructor, wheel launch, and he also has his tandem exemption, so he's full up, can do everything just like me. So we love it. But I've worked with Ron Tran for a number of years back there in Texas, and then we have 4 children. They all went to school out here in Gilbert in Arizona, And so we came out here and decided to start the school up here. One of the other little side things going on back with Ron is we started making, doing a lot of custom work for, like hats, jackets, and things like that for Ron. And then we started, kind of looking at like, oh, we need a, nice kiting harness, something that's good in the heat and the humidity. And so we started doing a nice custom kiting harness. And so we started making those, and then people started kind of catching on, liking them, and are like, hey, can we get some of those? And next thing you know, Aviator wants some. And now there's, 3 or 4 other flight schools that I make them custom with their logos and stuff on them. So got a whole side thing going on building those things. One of my oldest daughters had a business making custom body armor vests for police officers. Son-in-law's a police detective. And anyway, we ended up kind of inheriting all of that equipment as far as like sewing machines and embroidery machines and stuff like that. So that's kind of a fun little project that we do on the side. I made some giant laser cutters to, cut out all the fabric. And so we got a full up production facility here going on my spare time, when I'm not training students.
That is awesome. All right, so let's get back to, you went over to Lone Star and you're ready to get some training. I think everybody's been waiting for this, so go ahead and tell us your story, buddy.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I think most of the guys in that class that I was with had all seen that flight test RC video. We were all a bunch of drone geeks, RC pilot guys, and very similar backgrounds. So we had a really good time in the training. It was quite interesting. It was first, I think it was kind of unusual that I think I soloed, me and another guy, we both soloed on like the afternoon of like day 2. We had some kind of crazy things conspired and we soloed very quickly. But the second day, or the second flight the next day, had an interesting experience where the weather was supposed to cleared up. We had kind of like a thunderstorm that was supposed to dissipate and turn calm like it had done the night before. And we were waiting for the conditions to die off. Ron went up, checked the air, looked good. One of the other guys went to launch, blew some launches. So it was my turn to go up, and I went up and launched, and immediately we realized that no, it's not getting better. It's getting much worse in a huge way. It is nasty, bumpy, turbulent, winds are ripping. And we also realized my comms are crap. I'm only hearing like every other word from Ron. And so I'm kind of flying around by braille and just kind of figuring out, how to do this. And like, well, okay, I'm flying around, and he's kind of telling me, go here, do this, trying to see if I'm parked up in the air. And finally I decide, okay, I'm going to come in and land. And so I come in and do a pattern, and he's going like, are you landing? And I'm hearing like, this will be trims for landing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go trims in for landing. Well, what he's trying to tell me is that no, it's blowing like stink. I need you to go trims out for landing. Well, I just went trims in. So, and then as I'm coming around the final turn, I cut into what I call a defective OODA loop. John Boyd developed the OODA loop, and I knew, okay, you can't shut the motor off until you get below, like at least about 50 feet. You want to be, plenty high, but you can't turn the motor off until you get rid of over all your obstacles and these things. And so I'm coming around, flying around, and with the big strong headwind, I realized, I got to clear the park building. So I've got to wait for that. Keep going. The next thing you know, I come around the corner and there's some people playing volleyball in the park. And I'm like, got to make sure I get past all those guys. And so now I was like too low to where I felt like I could like safely shut off the motor. So now I'm just like, screw it. I'm just going to fly this thing down to the runway under power, except it's my second flight. So my throttle control sucks. And so I'm getting these big oscillations, and it was poorly timed. So I was in the middle of a kind of a swing and tried to flare and basically had nothing, and managed to land in like the one little patch of gravel that is on the whole grassy field, and kind of slid in, took a knee, the kind of hit pretty hard, and the motor, the prop, if the frame hit the prop, like actually hit the tank, punctured the tank. So I'm kind of down on one knee and my kind of all fours. And now there's fuel pouring all over my leg. And I'm thinking, this is how it ends. I go up in a burst of flames. And other than that, just had a skin knee. But it was pretty crazy because I was trying to think like, what happened? I'm just over the whole night just thinking, what did I do wrong? What happened? And it was amazing. In all my thousands of years of flying airplanes, the thought of going around never occurred to me. I'm like, how is that even possible? And the next morning, so I wrote a letter to Ron saying, this is what was going on. And I can't believe I didn't think about this. I'm like, shoot, if I'd seen like a visual signal from you on the ground, like, make a big X or like do a go around, or maybe that would have like, oh yeah, go around. And so we had a very interesting conversation. It was a really good learning moment for the both of us, as him as an instructor, and about, talking about like Nordo, what do you do if you're Nordo? We didn't talk too extensively about, like what happens, or, how you handle that situation. So that was a big moment for us. Like, okay, we definitely, this is what we brief. We're going to do this and this and this, so that if something like that happens, we can handle it. So that was kind of the big highlight of my training. That was a big eye opener. It's like, and so that was something we incorporated into our training, is like, we don't have a guy come in and just land. No, he does he does a go around, just like in a full scale airplane. First thing you do is you just do a low approach and say, nope, if it doesn't look right, just go around and try it again.
So on your training, it's interesting you bring that up, because I know there's a lot of instructors out there that don't teach as much as what they should, and I think you mentioned a little bit about that in the pre-show. So mainly like airspace and weather would be really important. I think that people need to know about. I mean, we saw a video a day or two ago, and their instructor wanted this student on his fourth flight to pull big ears. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea on your fourth flight to be pulling big ears.
Yeah, the potential to grab the wrong line, would be, I would think it'd be problematic. I mean, at Lone Star, we were kind of odd in the fact that we flew students with motors that had reserves on them. I don't think anybody did that, because they were like, oh, the student's going to panic and like throw the reserve in flight. And I'm like, well, we just teach them what to do. And, we do tell them, later on, okay, simulate reaching for a handle, getting an idea, identify, that sort of thing, going through the steps. But, no, we've never had a problem with a student, panicking. One thing we also did on our first flight was we'd have the guys go trims out, and reset the trims, go trims out, trims in, so that kind of that fear is gone, to let them know that, hey, it's no big deal. And for them, we've never had any problems with that. Later on, we'll show them like how to use like tip steer, things like that. But so, and then like incorporating touch and goes to the training. I know we were somewhat unusual that, we were doing touch and goes with students when, they got to a certain level of proficiency. And I know personally, for me, the only time I ever screwed up a touch and go is when I think I'm going to do a touch and go. If I just think I'm going to land, and if I happen to be kiting the wing and, oh, look, everything's perfect, and like I'm just running along and the wing is good, like, oh, I'll take off again, then that's how it works, But if I think I'm going to do a touch and go, then things go sideways badly, and it gets horrible. But so yeah, there's definitely some things, and like I say, the issues with training, like one of the first things I noticed when I came here in Arizona was that it seemed like there was a problem with students not having an understanding of airspace. Like, for instance, in Arizona, every single lake or river in Arizona is in a wilderness area. So we've got the 2,000-foot thing to deal with, and a number of other limitations like that. There's MOAs, there's restricted airspace, there's a lot of stuff around there that you do kind of need to be aware of, and got to kind of have to know your audience and what you're flying around, so that you don't annoy the hell out of people.
Very true. Was there any other questions in the super chat? Scuba Steve, did you have one?
Well, I wanted to add one more thing to it, I guess. I mean, he pretty much answered what I had, but what do you think trainers could do better that you've seen in your experience? I mean, because you've got years and years of experience in aviation. What do you think that a lot of these trainers, I mean, you got some of them that's been around a long time, some of them that just started out. What do you think they can do better to make new pilots safer in the air?
Yeah, I think the ground training is the biggest thing. I mean, like when I went back to Aviator, and we were an alliance partner with Aviator PPG. So Ron and myself and Parker, we'd go back to Aviator periodically and work with their students. sit through their ground training, see what they do. And that was one of the things that I was really impressed with. The ground training that John Isley had developed is amazing. He's a former military guy, and he was one that primarily developed the ground training, and it was absolutely, it's top notch. It's world class. I mean, I was just like blown away. I mean, I was like learning things that are like, wow, I haven't seen anybody talk about this in a very long time. It was perhaps overkill for their situation, but it was perfect. And so that was one of the things that we took with us at Lone Star and both Desert Aviators, was making sure that we incorporate a lot of ground training, talking about aerospace, talking about weather, safety things, spending a lot of time talking about, just the ground training, not just go out and doing all the physical stuff of flying, but getting in the classroom and sharing all those things and explaining why it's important. I mean, and it is nice from my perspective that, like, when we talk about, for instance, I show them a chart from the regulations that show, like, VFR cloud clearances, and like, there's this huge mass of numbers. And what I try to press upon people is like, okay, notice the trend here. It's like the numbers get bigger the higher you go. There is a reason for that. That's because the higher you go, you got airplanes popping out of clouds, maybe 500 or 1,000 feet above you. And they're all of a sudden, they just pop out of a cloud and they're descending in to go land somewhere. They're not looking for a paramotor, hanging out underneath a cloud or a Cessna 172. They're not really looking for that kind of stuff. And so you need to have those visibility and distance and altitude limitations so that you have time to react and get the hell away from them before you get run over. And so, it's all that kind of stuff. There's a reason for those rules, and it's so that everyone can have time to get out of everyone's way.
I watched a video. I watched a video of a guy today. It was like a paramotor crash, but I assume, when you're training most of your students, y'all do hang checks and stuff. This guy apparently did not do a hang check, because he took off and his fan was literally almost pointing directly at the ground. So he just right back down into the ground. It looked terrible. I was like, there's no way he could have done a hang check and be that. I mean, he was literally almost 90 degrees to the ground. It was crazy.
Where was this? Where'd you see it?
Was a video I watched. It was like 10 bad paramotor crashes or something. That's what I watched.
Okay.
Crazy stuff like that.
Was that recent or an old video?
I think it was an older video. I don't think it was recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will Fly posted a question. Will, can you read that real quick from Lift Paramotor? Actually, I don't think it's a question. I think it's a comment. And you're on mute.
Got me. So Jeff, you said you did an SIV. Where did you take that?
Yeah, I was with the Fly Torrey Pines guys, Max and Gabe from Fly Torrey Pines. So we went up to Lake Berryessa. Yeah, that was absolutely mind blowing. I took my Spider 22, and I was like the only paramotor guy there. Everyone else is free flight, and so I noticed something very quickly, and that wing with my wing loading was very hot and dynamic compared to their free flight wings. So I was like overrunning the towboat. So we had to work with Max to like get rid of the trim assist and go trims in the whole time to keep from overrunning the boat. So yeah, I learned a lot. I also learned that there was absolutely nothing I could do to trash the wing. The thing just refused to stop flying. I'm doing negative spins. I'm doing everything. And every time I let go of the brakes, poof, the thing just recovers. It's like, it's like literally like, really? I mean, it was very cool just to see how much the wings want to fly.
That's kind of a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I am kind of curious. I don't know if anyone's done it. I kind of have a sick fascination of maybe going back to SIV and taking my free ride to see like, okay, what happens if you go back with this like super dynamic D-wing, and is that thing, what is that going to do to you? Am I going to end up gift wrapped over the lake? I don't know, but because you always see people going to SIV and taking a Mojo or something, but it's like, well, why not take your daily flyer? To me, that seems like what you should do to really learn how it behaves,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did. So it seems like every time I get a new wing, I go to an SIV class to see how it recovers in a situation in SIV.
Yeah. And it's kind of another quick side story. I was doing an instructor conference thing at Aviator with a bunch of guys, and I think my primary motor was still the Nitro, and I took the Maverick up, one of the school motors, and I went up and I was, playing around with it, doing some big stuff, and I was going to go do a sat and did one set, and it felt like the way the hang point was slightly different, the wing and the motor, I didn't have quite as much brake authority as I maybe wanted. So I went up to do another set, and I said, well, let's try maybe doing 2 wraps on the brake handle instead of just 1. I felt like I couldn't. And anyway, so I'm kind of reached up doing a double wrap, and it was funny. Before I even, set up for the acro run, I'm looking at the ground, looking at the winds, thinking, okay, where's my LZ? Where would I land if I had to do a reserve toss? Doing all those kind of things to make sure I'm stacking the deck, in my favor. And part of me is like, well, you don't have to do this. I'm like, well, yeah, what's the best place to practice? Here at this beautiful facility. So yeah, this is a good time to practice. And anyway, it went up, and by the time I'm getting that second wrap on the brake handle and starting to pull in, I was already starting to kind of tip in, like, oh shit, I'm already going, And anyway, ended up botching the entry, and I basically pulled too hard too early and spun the wing and got a nasty riser twist that I could not clear. So basically at this point, I'm now locked into this beautiful sat that I cannot get out of. I tried reaching above the risers to try, and I couldn't put in opposite brake, couldn't bicycle out of it, just too much G loading and just, spinning. And I was like, seriously, I'm going to be that guy. All right, fine. Here we go. Do the reserve toss. And everything worked beautifully. Inflates fine. I come down. The landing was a complete non-event. I climb up, gather everything up, and start slogging through the marsh to go back. And eventually Kyle Mooney comes up on a quad to help me out. The first thing he does, he grabs my helmet. And he's like, oh, seriously? No GoPro. Didn't get video of any of it. So that was a fail. But anyway, I went back, and by the time we got back, I went up to go see Erik. And I was going to basically kind of apologize for, like, dude, I was stupid. I'm an idiot. I sorry. And before I could even get there, he's like throwing me a beer, and he's like, this was like perfect. I said, this is why I'm like, the fact that this happened, you got experienced pilot, you've had the training, you do this is like the perfect story of why we do the training and why you do everything. And he's told this story countless times to students, of like, hey, this guy came in and he's done all the training, boom, he had to throw the reserve, everything worked perfectly. This is why you do it. This is why you do training. I'm like, well, I've always been good for that, of at least being the example of, don't be that guy, or at least be a good example. So I think to this day, I'm the only guy who's ever tossed a reserve at Aviator. So yeah, it was definitely, I highly recommend everybody getting as much training as you can, because you're always learning. There's something you can learn from any experience at any time.
There is absolutely, and I'm glad that you brought this up, and I want everybody to stop doing what they're doing and listen to this real quick. If you have a reserve on your paramotor and you need to throw it, don't feel like it's a bad thing. It's there to save your life. Throw the damn reserve. And that is what I want everybody to understand, that we've seen way too many videos of somebody spiraling down and hitting the deck and never throwing that perfectly good reserve because they didn't want to be that guy. Please be that guy that gets to talk about them throwing a reserve on a podcast because it saved their life. Please wear a reserve, and if necessary, through good training and understanding that throw it when you need to. Come down on that reserve, come on the podcast, talk about your amazing job that saved your life.
In fact, I think the reserve that I actually used, we repacked it, and I think we actually gave that very reserve to Anthony Vella. Because he was kind of the guy that we were like voting. He was like the guy we voted most likely to die in a paramotor, but he always flies so low, a reserve wouldn't help much anyway. But I think we actually did give him our reserve.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
I have one question real quick, Jeff. Have you, because you said Torrey Pines, I don't know if you ever met my son, Robert Michaels. He's flies out, he paraglides out of Torrey, he used to paraglide at Torrey Pines quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
And he has this show, Paragliding Talk,
Oh, okay.
on Thursday nights.
No, I've not met
Yeah.
him. Yeah, because like I said, I have never been to Torrey Pines.
Okay.
There, because all the training they do is up at Lake Berryessa, northwest
Okay.
of Sacramento.
Have you done paragliding yet? Have you tried it yet?
No, when we used to be involved with Paracosta down in Costa Rica. I know they do a lot of paragliding, and I was really
Mhm.
fascinated with that. I'd love to go down there and try that, but I
Yeah.
have not tried it yet. I know.
Better have a reserve for that. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that, and a couple of reserves sometimes. Yeah, and I learned very quickly talking to Max, like why you have a steerable reserve as your primary than the other one, because most of the time where those guys fly, you need to have a steerable reserve to make sure you land someplace you want to land.
Mhm. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very cool.
I got a steerable also. I always thought it's like, if I toss laundry and I look down and there's water, power lines, and trees, I want to be able to at least steer away from it. And one of my fears is coming down at 5.5 meters per second, which is kind of like jumping off a house. At least with the steerable, you actually have a little bit of flare authority to actually land softly too. We've been talking for over an hour, guys. So real quick, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to spin the wheel of Winnie things to get some more stickers. However, real quick, in 3, 2, 1, what is the code from last week? The first person that puts the code in the super chat from last week wins 2 stickers. And let us know real quick, what are those stickers, and where can we go to buy some stickers if we don't win tonight?
Think anyone's going to remember?
I don't know, James. You gotta talk. It's all about you now, bud.
No, again, JBPPG, right? And then I take this opportunity to let everybody know that I did make a 10% discount for everything on my store, as long as you use the ClearPropTV all caps code.
Bonnie Friends, I think, just got it.
Flyby.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If that's the code, I thought it was a different code, so I don't know what's going on now.
The other code was for the after part.
The after party, yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so who won tonight? Bonnie Friends?
Bonnie Friends, yep.
Excellent. All right, well, that's really awesome. I'm glad that you remember. We got the wrong code here in the background.
Uh-oh.
Good job, Bonnie.
So, since both Bonnie and Kramer, popped up really quick and got it, how about we give it to Bonnie and Kramer?
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, so
Cool.
Bonnie
Good
and,
job, girls.
and Kramer. Okay, so real quick, tell them how to get up with you so they can get those stickers.
Again, go to JBPPG, right? .com, sign up for the free account, throw it in the cart, get a hold of me on Facebook at James Belville, and I will get them stickers out just as soon as I can.
Excellent.
Now, Bonnie, make sure you save space on your car for your Paramotor Arkansas sticker, because you're going to be there in 33 days. You can take the JP PPG sticker and put on one side, but you got to put the Paramotor Arkansas sticker on the other side. Just saying.
both Bonnie and Brian, they want a box of stuff, so
There you
when
go.
they get here, there's going to be a dump truck out front with all their prizes that they won. I swear, it seems like they won everything in the last couple months of being in the super chat on the show. So make sure you guys go to JB, that's for James Bevel, ppg.com. Create that free account, because he also is going to be sending out some free stuff throughout the week, throughout the month, just for whoever made their free account. How awesome is that? Thank you so much, James,
Cool.
for everything.
Man, I'm going
that
to jump
you
on
do.
that wagon.
Absolutely. Now, Jeff, you make those custom harnesses, and you said that you're going to give one away tonight. Tell us a little bit about your school and about your custom kiting harnesses.
Let's see if I can basically here we got, so it's a very minimalistic, it's not like a free flight harness. This is just kind of like almost like a parachute harness like you would wear in the military. Just very lightweight, leg straps, just shoulder straps. Is just very simple, lightweight. So you're not sweating like wearing like a full free flight harness thing, and strictly ground use only. We're not going to do toes or anything like that. But got them, like I said, we make them black, tan, and we put custom logos on them for whatever school or, people want to put names on them, that sort of thing.
Excellent. And tell us about your schoolrealquick.com and how to get up with you.
Yeah, desertaviators.com. You can hit us up there. There's contact information on there. Or Jeff at desertaviators.com is my primary email. And yeah, we do tandems. We're pretty flexible with my work schedule. I can do, we primarily, we like to have guys come out, like a week to 10 days, like a Monday through Friday. So we get the weekend so we can knock them out. That's, obviously preferred to get that kind of high intensity training and get them knocked out. But we can also work with people's schedules if they live locally and, are only available the weekends, that sort of thing. So we're pretty flexible because my work schedule is flexible. So we can work around things pretty well.
Excellent. All right. So let's go ahead and put up that spinning wheel of winning things real quick, Will. And Paramom USA, if you could say hello to everybody real quick. If you're in the super chat and you're able to give us some thumbs up, please do so. That really helps us. And we definitely appreciate you. How many people do we have right now watching the show? Does anybody see that number? I see 43. 43. And
nice. Welcome.
And 15 likes. Come on, guys. We need those thumbs up.
Hit that like button.
Yeah, it really does help. Makes us feel good.
It does.
Paramount says so. Hit that like button.
Absolutely. Tonight, Jeff Fletcher is going to be giving away this custom kiting harness. So we want you to win this thing. So if you haven't done so already, do we have at least 43 people in the spinning wheel? I mean,
I am super excited.
Hopefully we got everybody in there.
Do we have Erik Owens?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't see scuba on that list.
No,
Scuba's all squinting. He's looking for his name.
Well, the harness I got
Who's
now is,
got
it feels
it?
like I'm putting on my paramotor because it's got like back handles. It's heavy, but it's cool. It's cool. We'll just stay here and be slaves. We're fine.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, Jeff, let's just say that we did not win this, but we need a kiting harness. How much is your kiting harnesses that you have in your shop right now?
$150 for just a normal harness is what we do. If it's a school, we do give some discounts and deals, for schools, cut them a break. So yeah, it's
Excellent. So this is one of the higher prizes that we have been giving away. So please make sure you say hello to Will Fly real quick. Make sure you get on the spinning wheel of winning things. Please give us those thumbs up. That really helps our metrics. This is from Jeff Fletcher, our guest tonight.
Yes. Ooh, look at they're
go
jumping on now.
Linda ParamomUSA.com. If you would say hello to everybody in the super chat
Right.
before we spin the wheel for this custom kiting harness from Jeff Fletcher.
Okay. Welcome, chatters. Look at that wheel. Okay. Hey, Kramers, Slow Days, Gene Coates, Scott, Nancy Garland, Bill H, Torque It Off, Jeremy, what's up, Jeremy? Greg Laney in the house, Flying Flamingo, Jade, my pretty flamingo, Gary Simon, Steve Goodpasture, James, Deweese Milstead, lovely Deweese, Brian France, Bonnie France, 555, Vance Oliver, Joe Adele, Todd Falone, Sean Hartman, what's up? Marcos Franco, Lex Batman, that's the coolest name ever. I Can Fly, PPG, Shundor, Travis DuPont's in the house, Mark McElroy, hey Mark. Never Trust a Skinny Chef, Shaney, John Wayne Cowboy in the house, Sharky in the Sky, Lip Paramotor, Hot Butter Productions in the house. Woohoo! Erik Owens, Don Beville is in the house. Welcome, everybody. That's so fun. I just love doing this.
Walter Priori is in the chat also, if you want to
Oh,
add him.
that's awesome. See, he can be on this one. Yeah, let's put him on the wheel for this
Walter.
one, because I'm sure that Jeff would love to send this one to Walter.
Sugar in the
He is
house.
the chat. I didn't know that. Hey, Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 50 people now. 50 people are in the super chat. We only have 30 likes. So if you just joined us, say hello to Will Fly at Will Fly and say, I am here. Make sure that you give us some thumbs
Yeah.
up to 31, 32, 33 likes now. We're up to 52 people that are watching.
Oh,
It keeps
wow.
on going up. It keeps on going up. This is great.
Yes.
This is wonderful.
There you
This is a big deal. This is an
This is
awesome
huge.
spin. Must be present
Yeah.
to win. Woot, woot,
Must
woot.
be present to win. Woo,
Oh, the excitement.
We got the excitement in
woo,
the
woo.
your wheel is there. It
We're,
goes.
gi-
Oh,
we're
okay.
giving away trash
There it
bags
is.
next week, so y'all can jump off the roof and practice,
Bad.
practice paragliding with your trash bags. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
bad, Scuba.
We don't,
Oh my
we
God.
don't have anything. Actually, next week, heads up, we got a lot more awesome, incredibly cool things to give away.
Yes.
So make sure that you join us
Next week's
next
gonna be-
week. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell notification because
Yes.
when we start giving away some stuff, we want you to know about it.
I'm all fired up now. Woo.
You sound like it. All right. If we are
One
ready,
last
let's
check. I gotta
All
check
right.
one last time and make sure I didn't miss. Oh,
All
I missed
right.
somebody. There's got a
That's
straggler.
a call for spinny wheel.
All right, come on, stragglers. Make sure
Lose you
you
lose.
make sure you at Will Fly. Let them know that you are here.
Yes.
Got 37, now 38 likes. Keep on
Mark,
going
Mark.
with those likes. Awesome.
They're jumping in. All right, Mark. Oh, there we go. You had Mark. It's like Mark.
You got Plainfield
Mark,
PPG. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I'm
I see
adding
that.
him now and Mark
Oh,
Gressner.
okay.
What's
Cool.
up?
Yeah.
All right. This is going to
This
be
is
a great
exciting.
spin. Awesome. Thank you again very
Hey.
much for those likes.
Man, I gotta grab my pom-poms. I'm so excited about this. Ah!
All right, so we gotta say at some point,
Oh, Plainfield.
no more names on the wheel.
Plainfield PPG in the house.
He is
All right.
indeed.
Man.
All right. Linda, did we get everybody, Linda? Did you get all the stragglers? Did you say hello to all the
I think
stragglers?
so. The scragglers.
Stragglers. Yeah,
That's funny.
so it was Plainfield
stragglers?
PPG.
Yeah, it
and,
looks like
Mark
everybody's in there.
Gressner. Mhm.
Oh, I see Mark McElroy from Paralife PPG is in the house. First of all, I would like to shout out to Mark.
Shout
Paralife
out to Mark.
ParalifePPG.com. If you haven't gone there already, he really makes amazing merch. He has donated
Yep.
and given away a lot of stuff to the pilots. I personally have worn them. They are extremely comfortable. ParalifePPG.com. Check it out. Also,
Yes.
a shout out to Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane. He does
Shiny.
a show on Tuesdays. If you want to check that out, make sure you go to ppgshane.com. Also, a shout out to Flying Flamingo Jade. She also does a show on Wednesdays at paramotorgirl.com. Obviously, thank you everybody that is in the super chat. Thank you everybody that is
Thank you.
watching. We appreciate you. And we are ready to spin the spinny wheel for a custom kiting harness worth $150. Jeff Fletcher over at his flight school in Arizona.
I got one more to add, and I'm gonna have to stop, right?
All right.
All right, so we got Harris
Okay.
Smith 101.
Ooh. Gotta bring the
And,
wheel down.
Well, it's okay. I'm just looking at the
Oh, you're
names.
fixing it. Oh, I see.
So
Not that I'm telling you, how to do your job well.
Yeah, I don't see any duplicates, so you got it in there pretty good from what I can
Did you
see.
put Scuba Steve in? He really wants this.
if Scuba gets
Yeah.
in, I get in too.
Put yourself in there, Will.
I'm
Why
not gonna do
not?
it. No, I'm not gonna do it.
While
But
he
I will
is
put Scuba in if he wants me to.
while Will is shuffling it, Jeff, tell us once
Jeff.
again about your flight school, where it's located, and your .com, please.
Yeah, we're down in Santan Valley, Arizona, which is southwest or southeast Phoenix, suburb down there. We fly year round. In summertime, we tend to knock off in the afternoons because it never really cools off, but we always could fly in the morning. So we do
Yes.
offer flying year round in beautiful Arizona. And we do tandems, do introductory flights, trike training. So we pretty much do it all. DesertAviators.com is our website.
Cool.
And what is your email address in case someone wants to
Jeff.
get with you?
Jeff@DesertAviators.com.
Excellent. And thank you very much for donating this custom kiting harness.
Yes. Thank
We
you.
are ready to spin the spinning wheel and give it away. Who is going to win this one?
I'll go with Look Paramotor.
Lift Paramotors.
We got,
Oh,
what do you
look
want? Who do you
stuff.
want? I'll take Sean Hartman.
Louise Milstead is always winning stuff. Bonnie Fan has a box of stuff.
Scuba
But-
Steve's gonna win.
I'm not in there.
Oh,
He didn't add me. He was like,
Scuba
you
Steve,
never
you
get
are,
it right.
Scuba Steve, you're always just a winner anyways.
Oh, Look Paramotor is close.
Ooh.
Don't tell me
Oh.
Shane's gonna win.
Oh
What?
my
Trust the
I
goodness.
believe he is.
Oh my gosh, never trust the Steve Shane.
Yeah, man. Right on.
Wow.
Hey.
Never trust the skinny chef Shane. Woot, woot, woot. He has a podcast on Tuesdays at ppgshane.com. If you haven't tried that one out, make sure you go there tomorrow. ppgshane.com at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Shane was for triple.
That's why he
Pom-pom.
went on his own so that he could win on our spinning wheel.
I know, that's crazy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so we have something to give away on tomorrow night's show now.
That's good.
Hey, that's the way to do it. I mean, just keep it going, right?
Yeah, just
The
keep
gift
that's right.
that keeps giving.
So Jeff, how does Never Trust the Skinny Chef Shane get up with you so he can claim his prize?
Just shoot me an email or reach out to me on Facebook and give me his information, and I'll see what we can do. With him, we probably want to do some custom logo or something. Got to do something cool for him, so we can fabricate one up for him.
Sweet.
Nice.
Now
Yeah.
Scuba's really jealous.
Do one of a paramotor like face planting into the ground. That's what.
And you got to get the grill off to the side. right
Yeah,
behind
definitely
it.
the grill.
Yeah, with the grill. Yeah.
Yep. And with the fake the fake snake that pops out of the grill. If you ever go to a flying with him, don't go over to the grill and open it up when he asks you to.
Hey, speaking of Shane, there's a new fly-in I wanted to mention too. June 8th through the 11th down in Bowling Green, Florida. It's Fly It for Gauge, and all proceeds go to I can't remember what it's the Gauge. I should get better information, but it goes to a worthy cause. So it's an awesome place to fly, and I'm not just saying that. I've actually gone down there, flown it, and it is like the best place for a freaking fly-in. And it's super friendly for the whole family. Everyone's gonna have fun.
Is there a way? Is there a place on the internet that they can go to get more information, like a URL or a
There
Facebook?
is,
Okay,
and I'll have it for you momentarily.
excellent.
He said I would put Fly It for Gauge on the harness.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking he'd pick.
That's
Good
cool.
for you, man.
That is something tells me Shane will not give that away then.
After they put the decal in the part, what do they do now?
Okay. We hear something in the background. Is that you, James?
Yeah, it was me. My wife was talking. I forgot to hit mute.
That's okay. It's all good. All right, guys. We are officially in the after show. We went an hour and a half. I was thinking that we're only going to do an hour, but then again, hey, when do we ever do anything less than an hour and a half, right? So we got
All day.
another we got another half an hour. So this is our after show, just talking about paramotors, talk about experiences, whatever we want to talk about. Thank you very much for everybody that was watching. Congratulations to all of our winners. We got Greg Laney, Vance Oliver, we got Bonnie Franz, got Kramer that all won stickers from James Bevel over at jbppg.com. And of course, we got Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane, won the custom kiting harness from Jeff Fletcher. And that was freaking awesome. Make sure you go over to the website and go to shop and get yourself your very own custom kiting harness. Jeff, tell us about that .com again and how to get your very own custom harness if you didn't win the custom harness.
Yeah, right. Desertaviators.com. We do have a page that talks about the kiting harness and what they look like and some of the options. We also do helmets. We take Acaro SolarX helmets and we marry them up with Rugged Radio's comms to use for our student training. It tends to be, that's a weak area in the sport, is having good, solid, reliable comms. And that's the setup that we use. It's hardwired, kind of bulletproof, and we have really good success with that. So we fabricate those in-house, do some custom 3D printing stuff to make them all work together. But yeah, we'll do the kiting harnesses and like black or tan, put whatever logos you want on there and get you all hooked up.
Excellent. Thank you again, Jeff. We definitely appreciate you being on the show as a guest. You're more than welcome to hang out here and just talk about paramotors with the rest of us. If anybody needs to go, go ahead and wave your hand and let us know that you need to go. Will Fly, you need to go, buddy?
Nope, don't need to go, but I wanted to say, come hang out with us tomorrow night, 8:00 p.m. Eastern, YouTube for a Paramotor Hangout. And it's going to be a great show. You don't want to miss it.
Definitely not.
ppgshane.com.
ppgshane.com. Anybody else need to go, or everybody okay to hang out for another 30 minutes?
I'm good.
All
Nope,
right.
I'm a roll. I got, because we're probably going to be closing the house real early, so I'm going to have to shoot out. But good meeting you, Jeff. Thanks for giving away the harness. That's freaking awesome. That's like one of the best things they've given away on this channel. But yeah, and congrats on your school and everything you're going to do here in the future.
Thanks. Yeah, good luck on your house.
All right. Yeah, thanks. We're trying, man. We're 2 weeks past our closing date now. So who knows?
Well,
Thanks, Scuba. Appreciate you.
Hopefully next Monday you'll be like, I got the house.
Hopefully tomorrow I got the house.
Well, on the show next week or whatever.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'll see y'all.
Yeah, keep us
All right.
posted.
Oh, wait a minute, Scuba, before you go, you do something on Fridays real quick. Tell us about that.
Friday, I do a show about vaping and a little bit about paramotors, 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. You can either go to paramotordude.com, which redirects you to my YouTube channel, or you can look up Scuba Vapes on YouTube, and that'll take you straight to my channel also. Either one. We have
Yeah.
fun. Just come hang out.
I know your chat's getting huge, like every Friday, man. It gets bigger with paramotor.
There's so
and
many people,
paragliders
yeah,
jumping
especially with all
on.
the paramotor folks in there now. It's like doubled. I'm
Cool.
like, whoa. But I do try to communicate with chat in there. It's not like where I just sit there and don't pay attention to chat. I try to talk to the people. That sit there.
Oh, it's awesome. We have fun.
All right, y'all have a great week. Peace out.
You too, Scoop.
Peace out.
See
Blue
you Tuesday.
skies. Run into the sky, buddy. All right. Jeff Fletcher, man. What an incredible resume. Been flying since forever almost. You were in the Air Force. You flew Southwest Airlines for 23 years. You're an instructor. Now, is this your flight school, or are you partners, or
No, it's my flight school. Yeah.
you got your own flight school? Been flying for 6 years, man. Absolutely amazing. We definitely appreciate you being on the show, buddy, and wealth of information. Thanks again for donating that harness and sending it out. I think Shane's gonna love that.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're on our after show. 30 minutes. Let's talk about paramotors. Anything really cool coming up? Any fly-ins and stuff that you went to? Any accidents you want to talk about? Any amazing takeoffs, landings, and beautiful skies? It's all yours. What's up? What's been going on? Oh, wait a minute, Oliver, you got a question about something. Tell us about that question, and maybe all the people in the super chat might be able to help us out tonight, especially with your question. Don't forget to unmute. Unmute. There you go.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. So I was flying my trike about 2 weeks ago with my brother, and we went for winter cross country. It was minus 10 degrees Celsius. The flight lasted about 45 minutes, and we were just astonished. We both have exactly the same equipment, the same setup, and the Monster 185 took double the gas. So we're wondering why, if it was because of the cold weather, if it was because of the dense air, maybe because we were overloaded the way we were dressed, probably. It's possible. So it's out there. If anyone has any ideas why it took 7 liters an hour instead of 4 liters an hour on our cross-country flight 2 weeks ago.
Now, we talked about this a little bit on the pre-show that was not aired, and Jeff had a theory. Could you go ahead and tell us again real quick?
Yeah, the couple of factors that you kind of mentioned earlier was one, the extra weight. If you got skis on the track, plus the extra gear you're wearing so you don't freeze, that adds weight. So that just increases your wing loading density. And so that obviously gets you to take more throttle to hold level flight. Something else that occurred to me is, as temperature rises, the motors, tend, as you change altitude, change density, altitude, your mixture is going to change. And it occurred to me that when you're getting like really, really cold, that I'm guessing that the motors are running super, super rich. I'm thinking that probably has something to do with it. So there's probably a whole bunch of things kind of all adding up in there that is why you're seeing that dramatic change. That's kind of my thought.
It's actually the opposite.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was trying to think logically. Is that backwards or?
Yeah, because the air gets so dense, there's a lot of air in there, and so then they become more lean. So you have to actually richen them up.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right.
Because
Because cold, like cold at high altitude versus like hot down low is roughly equivalent. So yeah, you're right.
it's a tough concept to get your head around. That's how I burnt a hole in my piston.
Yeah.
That's true.
Were you equally, so you said you were flying identical things, but as far as the weight, were you equal? Were you pretty comparable?
We weigh exactly the 200 pounds, my brother and I. So yeah.
And what were your
same gear, 14 liters of gas. Sorry?
Were you both trimmed out the same?
Trimmed out neutral. Yeah, we're flying at the same speed.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the car.
And you
6,500 RPM, 6,600.
You said one was a Monster though, and the other one was
both of them Monster 185.
Okay, both
on a Kangook basic trike.
Are they the same year?
Same year, my 20, about the same time. Yeah. Getting
Probably
exactly the same results. Yeah.
It's probably just a carb setting.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's got to be a carb setting.
Mine used to burn 6.6 liters per hour, and now it burns 4.
Now, Jim and Jeff, you guys were talking about lean and rich. So for those of you that are not familiar with lean and rich and what that means, Jeff, can you tell us the difference between lean and rich, or Jim, can you tell us?
Well, most of the motors, like when they come out of the factory from, you think about it, they're tuned in Italy at like roughly sea level, fairly cool. And like when we get the motors and we break them in out here, we're higher, it's hotter. So once we get them broke in, eventually to get best performance out of it, we have to lean them out as they get broken in so that they're not running so rich. it's good to run rich and have plenty of lubrication when you're breaking it in, but eventually once it's, the rings are seated and all that, you need to lean it out. So then you probably got to do a little tweaking, to it at that point.
I have a question for Oliver, actually. Do you have the ability to do you have a bore scope of any kind that you can stick down into and look at the piston?
I don't have.
Because that would be an easy way. Even if you just pull the spark plug and rotate the piston up to the top of the head, and shine a light in there, you should be able to kind of just get a bead on what the head looks like or what the piston looks like, and compare the two motors and see if they're comparable. If one is darker than the other, you're probably running too rich on that one.
You could also look at the spark plugs and see how they look too.
Yep. I picked up a really cheap bore scope on Amazon that plugs into the USB-C port on my cell phone. So I literally just plug it in, and I can put the thing anywhere. And I use it to do piston inspections and cylinder inspections on both my paramotors and on my motorcycle.
Cool. I didn't know that was an option. Nice.
Yeah, they have them on Amazon. They're like $20, give or take. And it beats the alternative because I know Milwaukee makes some, and there's a bunch of other companies that make them, and they're hundreds of dollars. There you go. That's perfect.
All right. So for those of you that are listening to this podcast, you're more than welcome to go over and watch the podcast itself every Monday night over at iflyparamotors.com or clearproptv.com. But right now, Will Fly has put up a lean, rich, and optimal spark plug. Can you tell the listeners what we are seeing on the screen, Will?
Yeah, it's basically three different colors, well, or shades, but you've got lighter or too light, and you've got dark, and then you've got kind of a coffee brown. And it's hard to tell in this picture, I know, but what you're going for is a coffee brown. You don't want the extra light or the extra gunked up dark color, because that means you're too rich. Your mixture is too rich. So it doesn't take any time whatsoever to pull out your spark plug and look at this. But I've always erred on the side of richness. So
you and me both, buddy. You and me both.
Yeah. So I mean, I would rather have it slightly, because coffee brown is, people think of that color slightly differently, but I know what dark is, and I know what a dark brown is. And so I try to go somewhere in between the rich and optimal, and yeah, I'm happy.
And when we're looking at this, we're looking at that little white thing in the middle of the spark plug. So optimal, it's still going to be white. When we see the rich, is going to be really, really dark, like a good dark mocha. The lean is kind of like a tan looking color. And that's what we're looking at right now on the screen. Obviously, just what'd you search for, Will, or is this a picture that you already had?
No, that's I just searched for rich lean mixture, and that popped right up.
Excellent. So when if you guys want to, just make sure you Google that, and you can probably see what we're looking at right now. Thank you for
my
that.
question is it better to add more oil in the winter with your mix of gas, or try to adjust a carb where you basically are maybe not a great idea to adjust your carb, maybe just add oil, a little bit more oil in the winter? What's your suggestion, Will?
I wouldn't add more oil. I would set the carb accordingly, because I mean, I'm already adding plenty of oil to my, again, I err on the heavy side of stuff. I'd rather things be super lubricated or overly lubricated than the opposite. So yeah, I just do a simple carb adjustment with the low. And I think that the thing that people have the problem with the most when they adjust their carburetor is they adjust it too much, too quick. I mean, a carb adjustment is just, you can barely even tell you've moved it. I mean, that can make a big difference. So I made that mistake early on my first motor of adjusting my carb. And when I say I adjusted the heck out of it. And the thing is, I couldn't get it back, to where it was running the way it was before, because, I got it all out of whack. So I had to reset it to Actually, what I did is I bought a brand new carburetor. I took that one off and put the other one on, So I wouldn't have to do that today, but hey, lessons learned, right?
That's a good thing. Oliver, how old is your carburetor? Is it like a brand new carburetor? Have you rebuilt it?
I'm right now at about 58 hours and about 89 flights, approximately.
Yeah, it's getting time for a rebuild.
Yeah, you might want to consider just getting another carb and put that other carb on there. And you're probably going to have an adjustment to it somewhat, but that'll give you the opportunity to rebuild the other carburetor and then kind of keep it cycled,
Yeah,
And how high, and real quick, how high are you above sea level?
A few hundred feet. That's not the
Okay.
issue. Yeah.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Jim, were you saying something, bud?
yeah, it doesn't take very long to to rebuild your carb. Like you can do it pretty quickly. So if you get yourself a kit, you can probably do it. Well, if it's your first time, then it might take you a couple hours, but it shouldn't take that long.
I don't think
I was
just
just
a couple hours.
Yeah, I was just hoping that when the spring comes back and the hot weather is back, that everything's going to go back to normal. It's possible too, right?
It is possible. That's right.
Oh, also real quick, what kind of fuel are you using? Are you using ethanol or non-ethanol?
Non-ethanol 91.
Okay, well,
Okay. Yeah.
what kind of oil are you using?
It's the
Oh, boy.
Macho
Moto.
800.
710 or 800?
800.
800. That's a good one. That's good
Yeah,
for
that's a
high-
good point about the fuel, because some locations they change the the ethanol mix between summer or winter. They change the additives, and that would be possible that it could be messing with things. One of the things we used to run avgas in our nitros, and that was nice, but it was interesting. Even we ran Decalin, which is a product that they use for full scale airplanes to try to reduce the lead fouling. And we were really surprised when we were down at Aviator and we tore down some of the motors, and we were surprised how much carbon and lead buildup we were getting in the motors, just even adding Decalin when we were running avgas. So we were like, out of heck with it. We just went back to running, straight old pump gas, because it was pretty noticeable how much gunk was getting on the head.
Well,
from the lead
also
buildup.
too, when you're running avgas, that is actually is a lubricant. So you got to remember that when you're adding your oil, because if you have avgas and you're doing the same amount of oil, you're actually over lubricating.
Yeah, because the lead's for valves and all that sort of
Mhm.
stuff. Yeah, so
Excellent, man. I tell you what, it's always fun listening to these after shows and listening to people talk about paramotors. The insight is absolutely invaluable. If you have not learned to fly yet and you're still looking for a school or you're waiting to get into school, listening to these podcasts are really good, because 9 times out of 10 there's some really good information that you can actually bring with you to the school. Especially something like this when you're in your maintenance class or your 2-stroke motor class or rebuild your carburetor class. This is something to definitely look at and think about, as far as the leanness and richness, what kind of fuel you use and what kind of oil you use. I used all sorts of different oils. I think that I've come to the conclusion that the Sabre is the most cleanest burning oil so far, and I don't have the following like I used to with the Motsu 710 and the 800. Real quick on the panel, what kind of gas do you use, fuel mixture, and what kind of oil do you use? Also, everybody in the super chat, if you fly, please let us know what kind of fuel you use, ratio, and what kind of oil. James, real quick, since you're at the top over here on my screen, what kind of fuel you use, ratio, and oil? Just curious.
Yeah, I normally run 92 with ethanol. That's about the highest I can get here. And then I run 40-1 with AMSOIL. And I've not had no foul plugs as of yet until I go up tomorrow, because I said something.
That always seems to be the thing. It seems to be the case. Ryan?
I primarily use like just 87 pump gas. I started out with the Maxima K2 on my Atom 80. Now I'm flying the Moster. I was using up what's left of the 50 to 1 that I had that I was running in the Atom, and I'm switching over to the Dominator, the AMSOIL Dominator oil, and I'm going to be mixing that at about 60 to 1.
Now, when you get the gas, are you talking about non-ethanol or ethanol?
Just regular, just pump gas, just the ethanol.
With ethanol? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any more deterioration in your carburetor membranes when you do a rebuild?
I have not taken the Moster apart yet because I haven't put enough hours on it. I think I've only put about 3 hours on it. But the Atom I took apart at 50 hours and it was in almost pristine condition. I think it's just because the carburetor on that one tends to drain out down the fuel line. I don't have a completely solid system there. It after it sits for a little while, the gas will actually pull out of it. So I think that may be working to my benefit.
Well, that's very
'Cause it's not
interesting.
because it's not actually sitting in the carburetor for an extended period of time.
Well, and how long does it take you to do 50 hours?
It took me about 2 years to do 50 hours.
Good.
I don't fly. I don't get as many fly days as you guys down south do. The weather up here isn't as conducive to flying. So if we get 2 days a week, we're doing really well.
That's funny that you say 50 hours in 2 years,
Yeah.
because I've done 25 in a weekend. So yeah, that you need to do more. You need to do more flying for sure, bud. For sure.
I'm trying. I'm over 100 hours at this point, but
Oh, that's good.
but yeah, it's just the weather up here is really rough when it comes to trying to get fly days between work and everything else. It's
Yeah,
just tough.
my dog said that was rough. Yep, absolutely. Jeff, what is your fuel ratio? Ethanol, no ethanol. What kind of oil do you use?
Well, when I lived in Texas, I was fortunate that going down to the local Buc-ee's, I could get 91 octane ethanol free, which is freaking awesome. And we run AMSOIL Sabre like 50 to 1 ish, somewhere in there. Here we don't have ethanol free available, so we're just running 91, super unleaded 91 with the AMSOIL Sabre. No problems at all.
Yeah, I like the Sabre also. I
Yeah.
think it's awesome. And if you guys have not been to a Buc-ee's, you need to go to a Buc-ee's.
Oh, absolutely. I
Right.
just got to go to one. They're awesome.
Yep. Who in the super chat has gone to a Buc-ee's? And do you know what we're talking about? If you're like, what's a Buc-ee's? You haven't been to one. It's a gas station, but it's a mall. It's a mall gas station with probably 100 fuel pumps. I mean, it is the most incredibly huge gas station mall I've ever seen. How do you explain a Buc-ee's anyways, Ryan?
And they're
The-
famous
the
for
way-
their bathrooms. That's
the
what they
way-
started. They super clean bathrooms. They're
Yeah.
huge bathrooms that are like immaculately clean.
Oh my God.
Now, if you're from Florida, you'll get this reference. It's Wawa and Walmart had a love child.
Right?
Actually, I can actually do you one better. Cracker Barrel and Wawa, because that's more like what they've got such a variety of stuff.
Yep.
It's more like a Cracker Barrel type shop, but it's also a gas station, so they got a bunch of extra stuff, food, and I mean they've got so many different things.
You're right, Jeff, about the bathrooms. The bathroom is like, if you ever been to like the most incredible executive bathroom in the world, that's kind of like what their bathrooms are. It's an executive bathroom. You walk in, it's like it goes on for miles and miles. Not really, but it is incredible. I mean, it's an experience just to go to the bathroom in a Buc-ee's.
I want to give a quick pro tip, Sean.
Yes.
For going to the gas station, if the pump does not have a designated nozzle for the ethanol free, put the first gallon of fuel into your car,
Mm-hmm.
then fill up your tank, your can, because all of the fuel that's in the hose and then down into the pump where the
Dilutes it.
switch is, has ethanol in it. So you're actually you're putting ethanol in your motor anyway. If you're trying to prevent ethanol from running through your paramotor, put the first gallon into your car and then top off your
And not only that, it's probably 87 octane, whatever the cheapest gas that somebody just put in. You just, yeah, anybody who's driven a motorcycle knows that, yeah, you're going to get hosed on that.
Hosed on that hose. Exactly. John Wayne in the super chat came up with something really interesting, Oliver. He said, if the air filters were exposed to moisture before freezing temperatures, it would choke out the motor, which means that you need more fuel. So do you think that maybe the air filters could have had some moisture in it and froze?
I don't think so, because my power motor is in a trailer outside. So it's already, the temperature is already the same as what I'm going to be flying in. So I don't bring my motor inside, outside in the winter, especially. So I leave it in that enclosed trailer outside.
Yeah, I don't know if has everyone ever heard of a carb, like one of our carbs getting carb icing?
That was a big problem with the Atoms when they
Really?
first came out. Yeah, the MY19, that was a really big problem.
Yeah, I think
And
I heard something about that. Yeah.
They ended up the following year they switched the carburetors to the WB37, 32. I don't remember. They changed the carburetor and it fixed the problem.
Yeah, I remember.
But yeah, you can.
But I don't know what the number is either.
You got to watch the separation between the humidity and the freezing temperature.
Yeah, dew point spread.
If the dew point spread is too close, then you don't want to be in the air because you're going to get carb icing.
And the way that'll manifest itself, like I actually got it in my car. One of my cars I used to have when I'd be driving, live near Sacramento, and you get these early morning fog, and I'd be driving on the road, and pretty soon I'm finding that I'm having to push on the throttle like farther and farther and farther, just trying to hold my speed going down the back roads on the highway, trying to do 60. Pretty soon I'm at the floor and I'm just like, I'm barely keeping up. And I finally figured out it was carb icing. Pull over, turn it off, let it warm up, and it would clear itself out and I'd be good to go again. So then I had to figure that out, but I'd never experienced it in a car before. So that was kind of trippy, but yeah, that would definitely, manifest itself in like sucking the life out of your motor for sure.
So Ryan, real quick, I see that you posted a question here. Can you ask him real quick what your question was?
Sure. Jeff, with all of your flying experiences, what was the fastest you've ever flown? And what was your most memorable flight to date with paramotor-wise?
Fastest flight, I would have to say, is in pilot training. Since we flew T-38s, you do one supersonic flight. So technically that would be the fastest I've ever flown, is in a T-38 doing Mach, something slightly over Mach. And the whole reason, the only point of doing a supersonic flight is they show you what it feels like on the controls. Because when a shockwave transitions on an airplane, like, if you've ever watched, the Right Stuff, the shockwave attaches to the leading edges, and like a T-38, it has a full flying stabilizer. And when the shockwave attaches, suddenly it becomes incredibly heavy to try to make a turn. You've got basically no pitch authority. It suddenly gets massively reduced. You're going to make a turn, you try to pull, and you're like, whoa, what is going on here? That's the kind of the clue that, oh, we're supersonic. And the problem is if you're like pulling on the stick super hard and then you go subsonic, all of a sudden that stabilizer bites into that subsonic air and you could actually over-G the airplane. So they kind of teach you what that feels like, so that if you're ever out there flying formation and chasing somebody around, you know what it feels like. So you're like, to back off. But otherwise it's kind of like, it's boring. It's a non-event. You just watch the needles jump and like, oh yeah, we're supersonic. But otherwise it's like, you know nothing. It's not memorable at all. Paramotor wise, memorable flight, I would say probably doing our mass arrival into Oshkosh. The first year I was there, that was pretty epic. We took off from a field about 8 miles away, and I think Tucker was there. He did a little bit of, there's a short clip of one of his videos that says, fog at Oshkosh, and they're all sitting around waiting to fly, and you see some guy flying off and going off into the clouds, and that was me. because I'm looking around going, hey, we got a mile visibility. Yeah, what are you guys waiting for? I'm tired of waiting around. I'm going to go up and play weather ship. So I took off and just to go see what it was like. And ended up me and Ron were the only ones that actually made it. It was horrible. So we ended up doing one later, but that was probably the most epic flight of just cool having that many motors in the air, flying to Oshkosh and landing at the ultralight field. That was super cool.
How many other guys are flying with you?
There was like 60 guys. We kind of took off in waves, so we wouldn't overwhelm the ultralight field when we landed there. Yeah.
That must have been
Pretty cool.
incredible.
Yeah, it was neat. I mean, Oshkosh is amazing because it's the only place, for an ultralight pilot where you could fly morning and afternoon. You go to hit the morning brief, get briefed by the air boss, and they had hours dedicated so you can go fly your paramotor. So I got to demo, some motors and things, and people would come out to watch us fly, and it was a really good time. I mean, no one else gets to do that. Yeah, it was cool.
I Can Fly PPG says, please ask Jeff why the U.S. Air Force still has the U-2 in service.
Because there's nothing else that has the capabilities. We keep upgrading the sensors in the U-2 and the capabilities, like the radar, for instance. It has an incredible radar that is good for, all weather, long range. And there's some really neat things you can do with it. Like when I was flying the thing, we still flew a few camera missions and a thing called the SIRE, senior year. It's like a giant camcorder SIRE system. It still flies that. It has infrared, but the radar, the ASAR, is the synthetic aperture radar, is the primary sensor. And we started experimenting with a technique where you'd image targets on the ground, and let's say you could get, say 3-foot resolution, meaning that objects have to be like 3 feet apart to determine that they're actually separate objects. So if you're looking at vehicles or something on the ground, but you can, so you get a certain level of resolution. Well, we found out that you could go image a target at a later date, and then instead of looking at the radar waves directly, you can actually measure the phase shift of the radar waves coming back. It's kind of a radar interferometry technique, and you can get millimeter level resolution out of it.
At what altitude? At what altitude?
Above 70,000 feet. Altitude doesn't really matter so much. So you found out you could find out that someone drove down that dirt road overnight from the compaction of the soil. We can see that. In Afghanistan, once the technique was matured, they were going to do a ground offensive in Afghanistan. We went imaged the area where they're going to go, compared it to previous imagery we'd done, weeks earlier, and did the same thing. And they spotted like 250 potential IED locations where you could tell someone dug in the dirt here, there, over there on that corner. And so now that you know that those are there, you can go ferret all those little spots out so you don't get any surprises later. So a lot of really neat capabilities. Not only that, that's just the sensors, but it also it's a giant flying electronic vacuum cleaner. What they call ELINT, comment, electronic signals intelligence gathering capabilities are just huge. They're kind of a broadband look at it, that it can receive data. Predators and other drones, they don't have that kind of bandwidth to be able to do the amount of volume of stuff that the U-2 still does. Satellites are cool, but everyone knows where the satellites are. And so here comes a satellite, put a sheet over what you don't want them to look at. You wait till it's gone, then you take the sheet off and go about your business. Or if the clouds happen to be overhead, you can't do it. Whereas the U-2 is designed to be able to loiter for 10, 12 hours, hanging out, imaging, and providing real-time intel for people on the ground. And so far, there's nothing out there that can do any better.
70,000 feet, and you can see within millimeters of something.
Yeah.
I need glasses right here to see within millimeters right in front of me. Holy crap.
Yeah, I've seen radar imagery like in a B-52, and I see these guys reading these are mountains and things we're doing low levels, and okay, what does that look like? First time I went down, actually looked at the actual raw imagery of the U-2, it looks like black and white TV. It's okay, so there's not much. Even though you're looking at radar data, it looks literally like black and white TV. It's you can see rocks, bushes, vehicles. It's pretty darn crazy. I remember sitting with the wife watching Patriot games or something. You see the little videos of like the little shadows of dudes running across the field, and you look at stuff and it's like, is that real? I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty accurate, actually. That's kind of what it looks like.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing technology, and of course it just keeps getting better. And the stuff, my hope is, and the thing that I have to believe is that there are a lot of really smart guys working for us in the government doing some really cool things that we don't know about and really don't want to know about.
And this is stuff that you can tell us, that's not classified. I can't even imagine what classified type of stuff would be. I mean, it would be like being able to look down from satellite and seeing a dime and seeing what year it was made.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of crazy. I mean, just, things that people take for granted. I mean, like, just give you an example of stuff like, police officers, like they have devices that, like a little black box, chained to a street post or whatever. And if they want to surveil somebody, and instead of doing surveillance and finding out when this guy is driving home, they just have it parked in the corner. And these things can read the codes on the TPMS sensors in your car, your wheels, because they're all unique codes. All you do is like scan it once, and then like the guy goes drive by and like, oh, we just got a hit on so-and-so. He's heading home right now. Let's go pick him up. It's pretty darn cool.
Wow. So in other words, if you want to be a thief, go back to the good old carburetor type of no computer car, and you're pretty safe.
Yeah. It'll work, post EMP, environment for sure. Yeah.
That is crazy. We're at 9 o'clock. We've been talking for 2 hours. And I know that you said, Jeff, that 2 hours was your max. So, man, I appreciate you, buddy. This has been really awesome. I've really enjoyed talking to you. And this 2 hours went by like boom.
Right.
Real quick, did we miss any questions in the super chat?
Well, actually, there is one comment that I would make that every once in a while I see on the forums. I see people talking about, like they introduce themselves to their friends and say, oh, I'm a pilot. I'm a paramotor pilot. And people are like, no, you're not a pilot unless you got this rating, you got that rating, you got all this other stuff, And I typically shut these guys down by saying, it's like, would you say Wilbur Wright was a pilot? He didn't have any ratings. Him and Orville, like they just decided to make the decision to go jump and hurl their pink bodies into the sky one day. It's like, would you say they were a pilot? I'm like, I would think so. What we call the aeronautical decision-making, the things that you're thinking about before you go fly, while you're flying, all these things, the things you're analyzing, it doesn't matter what you're flying. If you're in a U-2, 737, whatever, those are pilot things. That's what you do. And there's so many, like flying a 737 is ridiculously easy. If you think about what's easy or hard, but flying a paramotor. So yeah, I always tell people, it's like, don't sell yourself short, the type of flying that you do. Yeah. It's unique to everyone.
Right. You drive a car, you're a driver. You ride a bike, you're a rider. You pilot a flying craft, you're a pilot. You're on the water, you're a captain.
There was like you can see in the background, obviously you can see I got a ton of basses back there. I've been a musician for years, and there was a guy who was a very famous bass player, but he wrote a book and he talked about, he was trying to learn how to be better, and someone said, oh, well, could you help me learn how to play bass? And he's like, well, how long have you been playing? And I've been playing years. And the guy's like, well, are you a musician? And the guy's like, well, what instruments you playing? He's like, doesn't matter. I can play anything. He's like, what are you talking about? You can play anything. He's like, well, if I'm a writer, I could write a novel with a computer or crayons or a pencil. You wouldn't say I'm a pencil novelist. It's like, I'm a writer. And his point was, he says, right now you're a bass player. He says, with my help, I'll teach you to become a musician, because it's a way of communicating. And anyway, it was kind of this mind-blowing concept. It's like, wow, he's so right. And I realized that as a musician, I'm essentially a mute. I can sight read music and I play something, but as far as trying to communicate musical concepts to somebody else, I'm like, I'm lost, compared to most guys out there. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And Fly PPG wants to know if drone pilots are pilots.
Oh, now we're getting sketchy because, with all the return to home and auto flight and all that, yeah, that's getting pretty, I kind of draw the line at that.
I have to say that if you put drone in front of the word pilot, thumbs up. I understand. Right? A drone pilot. We understand.
Everyone's
staying
like,
independent.
get it. Yes, absolutely.
You pilot a
military
craft.
drone now. That's a different story. I'd consider them pilots.
No.
Well,
think about it.
you
They're
have to
still
be
on
a
the
rated-
ground.
You have to be
Record-
a rated pilot to fly drones, but we sent one of our U-2 guys. He actually went to go fly drones, and we kind of were teasing him. It's like, hey, how's it going in the drone? Where he's like, I don't know, I can't explain it. These things keep crashing all the time. He's like, well, duh, you put a U-2 pilot in charge of drones, and of course he's gonna go, oops, oh, we lost another one. These things suck, job security,
See, I race drones, so I don't have that whole autopilot. We got drones.
Oh
that,
yeah, no, that's a
myself, I
whole
race
yeah.
120.
FPV stuff is nuts, man. I've done a little bit. That stuff is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're doing like 100 miles an hour, just whipping around things. I've seen some of those videos and I'm like, no, I'll keep my DJI that goes nice and slow, 35 miles an hour, that won't crash. And if it gets too far, it will come back to me. I like that stuff.
Well, I don't know if you've heard this before, but there have been cases more than once of guys who are doing FPV stuff in an airplane. They're flying an RC airplane doing FPV, and they've crashed and had a heart attack and almost died from the, like their sense of reality was like so real that they go in and they went and they packed it in with the model airplane, and they actually had a heart attack from the trauma. The brain just like, I'm going to die. And they literally almost died.
Yeah, I've got to stay seated when I fly because when I get
you'll flip
around,
over. You'll
I'm
flip over
moving around
backwards.
just the same. You feel
Absolutely.
the G-force even though you're not feeling it. It's weird how it works.
Yeah, Air Force has done testing with like full vision sims, and the visual cues you get from your peripheral vision of the graphics, they don't even bother putting motion in the sims because you don't need it. You don't even notice it. They'll put like a G suit so it like squeezes on you to simulate G's. But yeah, you get so wrapped up in what you're doing that you have no idea that the thing's not even moving anymore.
That's why some of these Xbox games and things like that are so immersive. It's like you get your goggles on, your 3D surround sound, I guess earphones, whatever, and you're in there. You feel like you're actually, there. You don't feel like you're in reality, which is, I guess, why so many people like games. I like personally flying a paramotor. I like to actually be out there and feeling the breeze and actually being out there. It's much better than games. I still don't have a game console.
Paramotoring, the ultimate video game.
It is.
Right?
It really is, right? Amazing. Well, it's after 9 o'clock. You guys good? Ready to wrap up everything?
Yeah, I'm going to check out for sure. So appreciate you guys having me. I appreciate being able to come and talk to y'all. It's been great fun. Hopefully we'll do
Thank
it
you,
again.
Jeff.
Awesome, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Welcome back
Thank you.
anytime.
So
And I'll get hooked up with Shane's contact information so we can find out what he wants on his harness. So that'll be
Oh
fun.
yeah, he was asking. So he was asking how he gets in touch with you.
Yeah, you just like I say, my email, Jeff@desertaviators.com or if he has my, look me up on Facebook, you can probably find me there, but or on the website, I should have my contact email in there as well.
I will send it to him.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
excellent. So Jeff was our amazing guest tonight, Jeff Fletcher. Real quick, before you head on out, tell us once more about your flight school in Arizona.
Yep, it's desertaviators.com, full up paramotor training school in Santan Valley. We do foot launch, wheel launch, trikes, tandem flights, year round in Arizona. Good times.
Good times, buddy. Well, thank you again. Definitely appreciate you, buddy. Have an awesome week, and we'll get up with you later on because I got some questions for you. So I'll get up with you later about that, bud.
All right, sounds good, man. Talk to you later.
All right, have a good one. All right,
Bye,
guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
What an amazing evening. So let me go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. Let's start with James Bevel. He runs jbppg.com. Tell us a little bit about your company, what you make, and how we can get up with you, bud.
So basically, again, if you look behind me, let me get out of the way. JBPPG is where you need to go. like I said, I've got vinyl decals. I do t-shirts and a few more things that's going to come. It's going to surprise you. I try to do stuff out of the ordinary. You can look me up on Facebook, either through JBPPG on Facebook or James Belville on Facebook. Hit me up anytime, any custom work. I'll even work that into my schedule too.
Excellent. So thank you so much. Tonight he's given away stickers to the winners, and winners were Greg Laney, Vance Oliver, Bonnie Franz, and Kramer. So thank you very much. Make sure you get up with James by going over to jbppg.com and claiming those stickers. Make sure you go over there. Also make that free account, because he's going to be giving free stickers out to people that just make a free account on his website. So thanks again, James. Appreciate you, buddy.
Oh, thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, sir. We also got our official sponsor, Jim Simnard from Canada A, with the only guy I know that has maple syrup smelling money. And if you go up to him, ask him about his Canadian money. Ask to sniff his hundreds.
I have to carry them with me now all the time. You know that.
Jim's never going to be able to leave the house again.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's like, hey, can I sniff your hundreds?
Jim, tell us about your company and tell us about your decals.
Yeah, I got careprinting.com. You can come and check out my website if you need anything printed. And it's exceptionally good deals right now, since the US dollar is so strong and the Canadian dollar sucks. But anyway, you get an awesome deal. So give me a call if you need anything printed, stickers, checks, business cards, brochures, whatever. I got them all, because it's all paper and it's all ink on paper. So it's all the same thing. Yeah.
So in other words,
Yeah.
you can write me a check and I can cash it. What kind of checks are we talking about? Are you talking about bank checks, or what kind of checks?
Yeah, bank checks, sure.
Wow.
But you got to give me your account number
Yeah.
so that I can write it on the check. And then you got to have money in there, otherwise it'll go boing, boing, boing.
Gotcha. I also heard that I'm worth about 10%. How does that work?
Well, if you let me know that you heard about this on PPG Grandpa's podcast, then I'll give you 10% off.
Excellent. And if they go there and they want to use a code, is there already a code available?
I don't know. We're revamping the website.
Oh,
but
really?
it would be PPG Grandpa, and you would
Excellent.
automatically get 10%.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for that. I always feel good when I'm worth 10% more than I thought I was. All right. And what is your .com to go to your printing, and how do we get up to see your crazy paramotor shenanigans?
CarePP.com is for the printing, and CarePPG.com is for paramotor shenanigans.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate everything you do, including making our paramotor calendars over at paramotorcalendars.com. Ryan Rides, man, you are incredible also with your drones and all the cool stuff that you do. Tell us a little bit about what you do, how to get up with you and see your crazy shenanigans.
So I work for Starflight Drone Shows, and if you want a drone show for your event of any kind, hit me up on Facebook. We have a page there. Just do a quick search and I'll show up. And that's about it. Right now we're just gearing up for the season and starting to book shows. So anybody that wants a drone show for their event, I can fly nationwide.
Can you really?
So, yeah,
How far?
I have it.
What about international?
No, I'm U.S. only. I have a national waiver for the U.S. So I can fly just about anywhere in the U.S.
Okay, I'll drive down to the US and then we can do this show.
Yeah,
Bring it on, dude.
You
Come on
never
down.
drive. Yeah, you never drive down to the U.S. ever. So, you know. Now, I do like constellations, and I notice those stars in the back there. It's
Yep.
either the Big Dipper or a Little Dipper. Which one is it?
That's the Big Dipper.
That's the Big Dipper. All
You
right.
got the Big Dipper, and then Oh, where is it? My hand's gone. There it is. That's Polaris. That's the North Star for the eye.
Ah, cool.
I like that. So next week, if you want to win something cool, the secret code is Big Dipper.
All right.
Because everybody's gone, so no one's gonna know about this. We did have like almost 50 people here. Now everyone's gone. So Big Dipper, that's it. All right. I see somebody writing it down. Good for you, Linda. She goes, yep, there it is. Anyways, Ryan, you also do some really cool paramotor shenanigans. How do we get up with you? You got your own YouTube channel? Where's that?
I am on YouTube as Ryan R Rides. I haven't made any videos lately. My schedule hasn't really allowed it, but I'm hoping this year to be able to start making those again and upping my quality, upping the content and the production value on it. So soon.
Excellent. Sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you for doing all of that. We also got Will Fly from Will Fly PPG sitting over there in the corner all by himself. So Will, you do a bunch of different things. Not only are you a paramotor pilot, but you also taught GA, general aviation. You put out some amazing content on YouTube. You are the guy that does the spinning wheel of winning things on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. I could go on and on and on, including your tip touching thing and just the tip. So tell us about what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, man. So I came from a general aviation background. I'm a CFII.
Nice.
And I wanted to get back into aviation, and paramotor just like checked all the boxes. And I'm glad I went that direction because it gave me the feeling that I really was after all along, and that was the feeling of flight. So yeah, I fly paramotors, I make videos about it, and I pass on little tips as I learn them along the way. You can check me out at willflyppg.com or just search for Will Fly on YouTube. And tomorrow night too, we do a show tomorrow night, Paramotor Hangout, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. ppgshane.com will take you right there.
I was just going to ask you about that. Good for you. Hey, you also said too that you got a justthetip.com or another .com. Have you developed that one yet, or is that still in the making?
I have not developed that one yet. I probably should. Yeah, paramotortips.com, I think it is.
Paramotor Tips.
Paramotortips.com.
That's cool.
Paramotor Tips. I did this Google search for that. Things came up that I was not expecting.
I was just like, don't go to just the tip.
No.
Oh man.
Lordy.
I chose that name intentionally because I knew it'd be easy to remember.
Yeah.
Will fly because Will can fly. Excellent. Well, thank you for everything that you do, especially all the work that you do every week. You find the names, you put them in the spinning wheel of winning things. You look for questions, you put them over here in the Zoom chat so we can see them. You do a lot for the show, and you're also a treasurer on a nonprofit organization, Run Into the Sky, that we started, and we'll definitely be talking more about that later. So, Will, you have done amazing. I don't know how you do it, man.
I'm just happy to be a part of it, really.
Oh, definitely appreciate you, Will. Thank you. We also got Linda Anderson, ParaMomUSA.com, the pom pom girl with the cowboy hat. Or is it a cowgirl hat? Do we call it a cowgirl hat with you, or what do we do that? Is it cowgirl hat or cowboy hat?
Cowboy hat.
Okay.
Yeah. Cowgirl hat. Yeah, that sounds weird. Cowgirl hat. I got a cowgirl hat on. No, it's just a cowboy hat. So I have a bunch of them, but this is my favorite. So yes, but yeah, I'm the PR of the show of ClearPropTV, and I've been with you guys 4 years already, and I love it. I've met so many people. My para family just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I just have fun finding guests for the show. Like tonight, Jeff, this was awesome. I had so much fun. And we had a lot of chatters. Thank you, chatters, for joining us tonight. And if you want to find me, I don't have stickers to give out. I have no stickers, no stickers. That's how we used to say in Arizona, stickers. But I don't have stickers, but you can find me on ParamountUSA.com, and it'll take you right over to my Facebook page. And if you want to be a guest on the show, just get up with me. You can private message or however you need to do it. Call me, say, hey, I want to be on ClearProp. I want to be a guest on your show, and I'll get you all set up. It's real easy. As you can see, we have a really good time on here. So, and let's see what else. I'm going for my second tandem in May at Torchport, and I'm super excited about that with Northern Lights Paramotor LLC with Erik and Jade there, and I am super excited. Sometimes I even have dreams of flying already, so that I've got it bad now. You go up one time and it's like a potato chip, right? You can't just have one. You have to go back for another one. So I'm super excited about May.
I like that. When is a paramotor like a potato chip? I like that. That's good.
Yeah, so you can't just have one,
I like that.
So like I said, I got to go back for a second tandem, and who knows, maybe I'll get 3, and I'll have, by the time we have our show again after my tandems that weekend. Yeah, I'll be real. I'm super excited about it. So
Don't you have a very famous son also?
Yes, I do. Robert Michaels. He has a show on Thursday nights, paraglidingtalk.com. So y'all can jump on that show and just get in the chat. And everybody always has a really good time on there. He always has really cool guests and talking paragliding and sometimes paramotors, but mostly paragliding. And he's been a pilot, I think, since 2017, I believe. And so that's how I kind of started getting into the sport, watching his shows and more. And then I don't know, I'm here now, and it just kind of evolved, didn't it? Then I found you guys, or you found me, or whatever, and that's it. And the rest is history, right?
The rest.
I remember, just hanging out on the shows and taking notes and learning all the lingo, so I didn't look, stupid when they were saying different things. And I remember, I always say this story though, but I remember I was so proud of myself because I finally knew what an LZ was.
I remember when I didn't know what an A was.
That's a landing zone. I'm like, yeah. I thought I was really cool when I first learned that. But now, I know I can pretty much get down all the lingo. Even when me and Robert, we'll have our conversations. He's like, wow, man, look at you. That's really good. How do you know that? Because I listen to everything.
You are amazing. We definitely thank you for everything you do for the show. And I don't know what I would do without you. So thank you very much. You've probably seen Oliver in the background. Oliver actually won something last week. We got together, started talking, and he wanted to come on the show to ask that question about his Moster 185 using twice as much gas. So if you didn't hear that, make sure you rewind and listen to that conversation. Oliver, thank you so much for just hanging out with us. We appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me on the show as a guest. Really appreciate it. Great content. I love your content. I've been listening to your podcast for forever. I've been flying for a year and a half now. I don't have Jim's $100 maple syrups, but I do have the 20s.
Wow, nice. Maple syrup hundreds. I love that.
So you're in Canada, then Jim? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm from Ottawa, Canada. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice.
So you're both from Canada, so you both know each other.
Oh.
That's cool.
Right? I mean, isn't that what Americans think? Hey, you're from Canada, you must know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Days of driving away. I'm almost probably 5 days of driving away from Jim.
Yeah.
That's further.
But do you know each other?
That's further.
Yeah, so you
than
know each other,
Mexico.
eh?
Cool.
You know what it's all about.
Thanks a lot, guys, for all the content, the questions, and the amazing podcast.
You're welcome to come back anytime, Oliver. Come
Thanks
hang
for
with
hanging
us.
with us.
Thanks
We
for having me
enjoyed
again.
it. Yeah. Absolutely.
I always have a blast. I learn so much. I make new friends every single week.
I
Um,
know.
I tell you, I feel so blessed. And like I said, I couldn't do this without you guys. Everybody that comes over here in the super chat and hangs out with us, I appreciate you. I cannot wait to meet everybody at a
I
flying
know.
eventually. I've been so busy with school over at paramotorarkansas.com. We got more people coming in every week. We got another person coming in this next week. It's like nonstop, and I don't even advertise. I don't even advertise. Can you imagine if I advertised? I couldn't do it. I couldn't handle it. Too much. But
That's
Start hiring people.
I need to. I need to. We're going to expand big time, especially since we got Run Into the Sky, the nonprofit organization. It's designed to go with Resurgence PPG, Project Airtime, and to help disabled veterans. If you already got training from Resurgence PPG and you need gear, we're here to help you get gear. If you're brand new and you have disabilities, we actually fabricate and customize trikes and flying machines to help people that may be missing a limb or something like that. So it's really awesome, and I can't wait to talk more about that later as we get and as we grow bigger and bigger. Anyway, you can always find me at ppggrandpa.com. We're always over here every Monday night at ClearPropTV.com. You can listen to us at paratalk.org.
Yep.
Make sure you run into the sky.org because that's going to be really awesome in the future. You want to learn how to fly in Central Arkansas? Check out paramotorarkansas.com. You can always text me or call me anytime because if I'm asleep, I put it on silent. Put this in your phone real quick. PPG Grandpa. My name is Sean Simons, PPG Grandpa. My phone number is 501-747-3558. Yes, that's my actual cell phone number. Text me anytime. You know, if you want to talk about paramotors, trust me, I'm the guy. We just talked for what? 2.5 hours?
Yep.
James, how many
That's
hours
cool.
how many hours did we talk the other day?
I think we've pushed 4 hours or so.
4 hours the other day on the phone. So if you just want to talk paramotors,
Holy moly.
trust me, Will, how many hours do we talk on the phone?
2 hours. It was at least 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phone call.
Wow, man.
Jim, how long do we talk on the phone?
A couple hours.
Yeah, we are yappity yap yap talkity talk people. Brian,
I know.
you ever call me on the phone yet?
Yeah, I have.
How many hours do we talk?
I kept it short. I was about an hour and a half.
Yeah, so
I
barely
was out
had,
of coffee at that point.
barely had time to talk. I mean, that's why I kind of couldn't remember talking to you. We just
That's all right.
didn't talk very long, only an hour and a half. I don't know you an hour and a half. But
It's cool that I can, now we have like communication, because you always tell me, if there's something going on or just call me, and now it's like, I'm more comfortable with it, if I have to call you for something or vice versa.
right. How many hours did we talk, Linda, on the phone?
Details.
Mucho, right?
Yeah, I like that. Like we all kind of communicate, Jim, are you back? Are you back home then? Or are you still on the road?
am.
Oh, you are home?
You betcha. I made
Oh,
it.
good.
Can-
Yeah,
can-
you were kind of like in my my old stomping grounds there in Arizona at the Aching Airport there. And I've been in that casino quite a few times. And when I used to travel around, do the rodeos and stuff, I traveled out in Santan Valley. I did a lot of rodeos out there and stuff, barrel races and all that kind of stuff. And
Cool.
And,
Well, we flew in there. We landed right at the casino and went in for breakfast and then
Yep.
took off and went back to the flying circus. Hey, a flying
Okay.
circus is definitely a circus, but if you get up and get out of the area and go and see things and do things and you don't fly with all the other crazies, you'll be fine.
well, you'll have to one night we'll have you back on the show again, like the guest, and you can talk about all your traveling. Yeah, talk about your road trip. Get your notes all together, and then when we have like just we're all hanging out night or whatever, then you can Yes, see, I'm the PR, so I'm already putting all this together.
Are you
So
are you
we're
really
gonna,
the
you
PR?
know,
Are you
you're gonna
really?
kind of just be on with us and we're hanging out. We don't have a guest, but you'll be like a guest and then you can talk about your road trip.
She's
you
the real PR.
Are you the PR or is this your show? I still don't understand. Who are you?
I always-
You're
even
everything.
I know. Even when I talk to Robert, I'm always like, yeah, I got a show tonight. Yeah, I got my show tonight. And he,
Yeah.
you know, everybody just kind of, okay. Yeah, they know what I'm talking about. So
Absolutely crazy.
and I say, we're just family. It's para family, my para family show, right?
Yeah.
So
Hey,
we got a
Jane,
good guest next week. So
I'm going to go to jbppg.com and make a free account. Would you give away free stickers to everybody on the panel?
Oh, I could.
Well,
I
holy
I
smokes.
get a list. Like I said, I've got enough of them stockpiled here to keep us going for a little while. And just keep rolling with it. It won't be hard for me to cut some more.
Sure.
Excellent. So I'll help you out. I'll send you shipping money and stuff like that later on to ship everybody these things that you're doing. So thank you so much, James, for all the stuff that you do and are going to be doing in the future. I know the things that you're going to be doing because we talked for 4 hours, which is more time than what we've done on this podcast, which is crazy. I told you if we recorded it, it'd be a 4-hour freaking podcast.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah, I did. All right.
cool. That's very cool.
Will, you're on mute if you're trying to say something.
I was gonna say, your stickers, James, they'll make the circuit. So we'll make sure it's on the boards and stuff at the fly-ins, stuff like that. So you'll be represented well.
Good
Yes,
deal. I'm going to be at a few this year, set up with a little stand, little whatnot. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of t-shirts, designs and stuff now that, so I'll be giving away some t-shirts here real soon.
Good.
Excellent. Cannot wait. Once again, guys, we got James Bevel over at jbppg.com. Make a free account over there because he's going to be giving away stickers. You want to be the show? Go over to see Linda Anderson at paramomusa.com. Ryan Rides, man, he's a credible drone pilot. And what is your .com for your star thing?
It's right now we just got our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/starflightdrones.
Starflight Drones. If you haven't been over there, make sure you go over there and like that page. Something tells me it's going to blow up, and you're going to have videos too, right? All the cool stuff that you do on there.
Every flight that we do, we're going to be recording, so we're going to be updating as the season starts kicking off. We're going to be posting new videos. So yeah.
Absolutely. So check out Ryan Rides and his shenanigans on YouTube and go over to the Facebook page. Jim Simonard from Canada with his maple syrup smelling hundreds over at carepp.com, our official sponsor for all the decals you can possibly want to get. Decals. What is a decal, man?
Well, it's yeah.
Yeah. So you call it decals, we call it decals, right?
Okay, there. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
decal. No,
Yeah, we call it decals. We call it
it's
decals.
my stickers are different than JB's. They are they're printed, so they're not cut vinyl. And then also we do anything you want on paper.
Especially your very own calendar. So if you have a bunch of pictures that you love, send them to Jim. 12 good pictures. He will make you a calendar for the next 12 months with your pictures. Can you imagine having your very own calendar with your pictures? Any pictures that you want. It doesn't even have to be paramotor. Think about that one. We get that calendar over at jimscarepp.com. Jim, thank you really for everything that you do. You send us stickers for ClearPropTV. We send them out all the time. You send us your stickers to send out. So we've been doing that. We definitely appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
And Oliver, once again, buddy, thank you so much for coming on, hanging out with us and asking that question. You've really put that out there. It's like, what are the things that could cause you to use double the amount of gas? It's really interesting. So we appreciate you, Oliver.
Oliver, I was looking at your t-shirt, your paramotor t-shirt. I'm trying to.
Yeah, what is that? I can't see. Yeah.
Who is it?
So that's the hoop and this is the head. That's the pilot right there. You see it?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh. Okay, that's cool.
Did you make that yourself?
Nope.
Oh,
We got
okay.
it on a website. I think it was t-shirt. I think, am I unmuted? Yeah. I think it was t-shirts.com. I think.
That's an easy
Oh,
one.
wow.
Yeah.
T-shirts.com. Okay.
All right. We did say goodbye to everybody, right? I didn't miss anybody? Excellent. So we're going to say goodbye to everybody on the live
Bye,
stream.
everybody.
And don't go anywhere because we're going to say some special things to people on the audio stream only. So everyone out
Yes.
there, fly safe. Don't forget to run into the sky. We'll see you next
Thank
week.
you. Much
Take care.
love.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Later, guys.
All right, so we now are on the audio. So what is our secret word? Last week, our secret word was clothing optional. Nobody texted me, so maybe people don't get out to this far. For the people next week to win something, it's called Big Dipper. Now we need something for you guys that are listening to us only. What is the secret code for this week to contact me? By texting me 501-747-3558. What will be the secret code to win something neato?
U-2.
Ooh,
I was thinking the same thing. U-2.
that's a good one.
U-2.
U-2. Oh, I like that. Yeah, let me write that down. Because Oliver said reserve throw, but I think U-2 would work.
It would work, yeah.
Where's my, oh, I put it way over here at my dry erase. I got dry erase boards all over the place to remind me about stuff. So next week code is U2, like the aeroplane. U2. Excellent. Not Y-O-U-T-O-O or T-W-O. No, it's the letter U and the number 2. Yes?
Oh,
There's a dash in there, but yeah.
Dash.
U2, that's like the band.
Sure, we'll call it the band. And
That
a
works.
bonus, and a bonus is AC/DC. There we go. Whatever. I mean, if we're gonna throw out all that stuff. Why not?
There you go.
All right, guys. So thank you for listening to PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast on your favorite podcasting app. If you want to be on the show, make sure you get up with Linda Anderson, and you will be on the show live on Monday night. So you can get up with her by going to paramomusa.com. Obviously, hang out with me. Go over to iflyparamotors.com and hang out with me. I teach paramotors over at paramotorsarkansas.com. I put up some content about training and tips and tricks. Not as cool as Will Flies, but I do my best. So thank you very much for listening. Blue skies, and don't forget to run into the sky. Peace out, guys.
Be safe, y'all.
See you guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.